It was a disaster that no one could avoid. The day the dimensional gateway to another world opened, monsters entered the land and there were untold numbers of them. Humanity has finally lost hope. However, a miracle happened. Constellations are beings who have transcended humans. If humans did not enlist the support of the constellations in the fight against the monsters, humanity would have been destroyed. However, not all constellations are friendly. There are evil constellations that use and abandon people like things. The hero was informed that in his next life, he would sign a contract with a less hostile constellation than the sword god of the Central Plains. The guy thought it was just a fog cave. He had no idea that the fog was poisonous. It wasn't mentioned in the summary. Would his life end so easily? He's only an F-class player, but he really wanted to save, if not the whole world, at least one person. Like his parents. Is he just gonna die now? The sword god of the Central Plains doesn't help anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter anymore. The system reported that the sword god of the Central Plains laughs at the hero and says that F-class players are supposed to die according to their position. The young man shouted, "After all this, he can call himself his assistant? He's just a rascal." The guy was speechless. He received a message that a new constellation had taped his mouth shut. Where did this new constellation come from? What does it say? The young man couldn't even see the information window. It seemed that he was about to lose consciousness. The new constellation asks if the hero wanted to survive. What a question. Of course he wanted to live. The new constellation asks if he would want to survive if he had to start over. If there is no more choice, of course he wants to live. An unknown force pushed our hero inside the spiral that had formed. It was pushing him out of the cave. The boy opened his eyes abruptly. He didn't realize what was happening yet. The young man looked around. He was on the floor of his room. The sun was shining brightly outside the window. Was he really in his room? Our hero looked at the calendar. It was the 1st September of the 2020th year. The boy jumped to his feet, for this was the day of his rebirth. Had he really gone back in time? I guess it was all a dream, wasn't it? As a greeting, the new constellation says that the protagonist has indeed come to life. The boy wondered, was he really getting a message from a constellation? The young man couldn't believe that he had gone back 3 years. It just couldn't be. To figure out what was going on, the guy asked the constellation, "You are the sword god of the Central Valleys, aren't you?" Our hero told this constellation to get off his back. It doesn't matter if he's revived or not. He had gotten too cocky and believed too much in himself. Did the constellation tell him that the F-class should perish according to his position? It is reported that the new constellation is getting angry and says that the young man should not be compared to such a pathetic creature. The new constellation says it will never descend to the level of the sword god of the Central Valleys. The guy scratched the back of his head and asked, "Then who is in front of me?" The new constellation looked around and said it didn't matter. Our hero asked, "Then what does matter?" In answer to his question, the boy heard only a grunt. He didn't understand how he should take it. Looking at his family photo, the young man thought the grunt reminded him of someone. After calming down a bit, the guy asked what this new constellation's name was. The new constellation smiled and said that between them, knowing the nickname was optional. The protagonist was surprised. Usually constellations call their nickname instead of their real name, but this constellation says it's not necessary. The new constellation says, "You can't do that." But this guy's an exception. Our hero saw the appearance of the constellation begin to change. Constellation Song Hyun-seok greets the young man and says, "Our son." The boy wondered, is that really his mom? Sung Hyun-seok is his mother's name, and she is a C-grade player. Constellation Song Hyun-seok scolds the hero, complaining that the son didn't recognize his own mother. The guy says out loud that it can't be. The young man stated, "It's weird to realize she's his mom." Constellation Song Hyun-seok replied that it wasn't strange. The guy said he needed convincing. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is happy that she hasn't seen this photo in a long time. This photo was taken during a family outing to an amusement park. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok asks if the young man's first order of business is still buying ice cream at the amusement park. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok smiles and says he even remembers wearing diapers when he was 7 years old. Constellation Song Hyun-seok provided our hero with many more facts to confirm that she is his mother. The young man scratches the back of his head and says he still doesn't believe his mom is a constellation. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok looks at the boy and says he should stop doubting. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok crossed her arms over her chest and said that she could answer any questions. The boy pronounced that when his mom would come home, she would cook his favorite dish. Constellation Sun Hyun-seok sends our son a sponsored item. Bread with honey appeared on a plate in front of the hero. It was a toast prepared with motherly love. The boy took a bite of the toast and felt even the toasted crust. This toast was exactly like the one his mom used to make. The hero thought, definitely have to believe what's going on. The guy asked the constellation, is that really his mom? Constellation Song Hyun-seok feels guilty and says he regrets arriving so late. Tears appeared in the hero's eyes. He said that he missed his mom very much. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation dropped a tear. It says it missed him too. Constellation says, the time for crying about a family reunion is over. The guy objected since it had been so long since they'd seen each other. Constellation asks, is this really how her son wants to start a new life? Constellation says that the young man must reach at least C class. The boy was surprised because it's not easy. Constellation says he already has plans for this man. The hero wondered, what plans are we talking about? It is necessary to transform our son from an F-class player to a C-class player. Constellation scolds the young man for his doubts and tells him to get down to business. The transformation started with cleaning the apartment. Even the bed had to be made. Constellation was happy that her son had completed his first assignment. The boy didn't think the first assignment would be cleaning. The young man asked how his mom became a Constellation. Constellation proudly says it's because of her accomplishments. She advanced faster than her father, even though she was a beginner. The boy wondered, did his daddy become a Constellation too? The hero's parents were C-class players. They sacrificed their lives to save humanity. The young man thought that they possessed the qualities to become Constellations. Constellation is sad because meeting his dad won't happen soon. The boy thought that his dad must be having a hard time too. Constellation offers a sponsorship gift for successful completion of the assignment. The character was given vitamins of love. However, due to sponsorship interference, there was no information about them. The guy wondered, are these vitamins really good for you? She's not going to trick him, is she? A fiery flying object appeared in the sky. Constellation smiles softly and says the guy will feel the effects of the vitamins after taking them. The flying object was approaching the earth. The young man decided to take vitamins as he had done before. The stone, rapidly approaching the earth, ended up in the residential area of the city. The hero opened his mouth and threw the vitamin in there. At that moment, a glowing huge stone flew into the window. The boy, startled, managed to bounce aside. The huge stone was in his room. The young man was saddened to think that on the first day of his rebirth, the house was a shambles. Constellation is mad because it happened after diligent cleaning. The guy said his mom was worried about the wrong thing. The guy looked out of the window and saw that there were monsters chasing people in the city. The hero figured those freaks were already in place as well. The young man thought it was a good thing he hadn't died at their hands. That underdog, the sword god of the Central Valleys, what was that nonsense? The hero decided he wouldn't let that happen. It was dangerous to stay here. He had to get to a shelter. Constellation is excited about such an incredible opportunity to prove themselves. Constellation believes in his son and wants him to successfully finish off all the monsters. The boy thought that in his past life, he had gotten the brunt of such monsters. Constellation shouts encouragement and recommends taking the chance for revenge. The young man says they are not opponents, for he is not their equal. The boy decided to show his mom that he didn't have much strength and pounded his fist on the wall. He said she could see for herself. The young man stated that a player like him can't even break something. However, he was wrong. There was a huge hole in the spot he had hit. The hero could not believe it. Did he really succeed? Constellation shrugs and says he's gotten so strong because of the vitamins. The Constellation recommends that the son focus and utilize mana. The protagonist focused and began to absorb vast amounts of energy from outside, concentrating his mana to fight the monsters. The guy wondered what the big deal was about the vitamins and activated the information window. After examining the data, our hero said that his ability level hadn't changed. Then where did this power come from? Is it really all vitamins? Constellation Song Hyun-seok winked and said that he would give an answer after he destroyed those monsters. Constellation Sun Hyun-seok stated that a new stage has begun in the transformation of our son from an F-class player to a C-class player. Something terrible was going on in the streets of the city. The citizens didn't realize when the players would arrive to help. At this rate, they would all die. Monsters were screaming and attacking the citizens. A huge monster with a club in his hand approached the unfortunate girl. She was crying and screaming, calling for help. The villain approached and swung a club at the girl. Suddenly, a powerful energy charge hit the monster below the waist. The monster screamed in pain. Constellation Song Hyun-seok watched the young man with interest. The guy told the girl that he would deal with the monster himself, and she should run for cover as soon as possible. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asked in surprise if that weak monster had hurt her son in his past life. The boy nodded affirmatively. Sung Hyun-seok's Constellation cried out that her son should take revenge. Constellation Song Hyun-seok furiously observed the monster and said that it should be stomped into the ground. Our hero replied that he understood. Constellation Song Hyun-seok attacked the monster and dealt it a series of crushing blows. The monster had been deactivated and was lying on the ground. Constellation Song Hyun-seok cheered and said, "Those were great hits!" The protagonist stepped on the monster's head and picked up its club from the ground. The young man thought that it wasn't heavy at all. Was it all due to the vitamins? The monster jumped to its feet and moved at our hero, roaring. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok clenches his fists and says that there are still many monsters left to deal with. The guy raised his club and said his mom could care less. Maybe in the past they would have overpowered him, but things were different now. The young man, swinging a huge club, moved towards his opponent. The boy threw a rock at the monster and swung his club, jumping high up. Another monster was deactivated and fell to the ground. Constellation Sun Hyun-seok recommends not using weapons, but taking on monsters with your bare hands. Constellation Song Hyun-seok agreed and thought that instead of a stick, fists would get to the target faster. The young man tossed the stick aside, and it hit the chest of the nearest monster. The monsters roared furiously and began to approach their opponent. The protagonist said they could get closer at arm's length. Our hero activated the enhancement and began to concentrate his mana again. The lad, backed by his mother, said he would blow the heads off all his opponents right now. The monsters, swinging their clubs, approached within striking distance. The young man concentrated the energy in his fists and prepared to fight. After all the monsters were destroyed, our hero noticed that his strength still hadn't run out. The boy looked back and saw the axe flying towards him. He ducked at the last moment. A huge monster appeared in front of our hero with this axe in his hand. He roared loudly and sought retribution to avenge his fellows. The young man realized that the boss monster was in front of him. Wasting no time, the guy jumped up and swung around to attack his opponent. Our hero jumped on the villain's back and began to give him multiple blows. He shouted that he would make him pay for this thoughtless mayhem in the city. Swinging with all his might and putting all his hatred into his blow, our hero pierced the monster's body with his fist. The monster screamed in pain and its green blood rushed in different directions. After a brief resistance, the boss monster is brought down to the ground. Constellation Song Hyun-seok jumped up and down with joy and shouted, "Mission accomplished!" Looking at the result of his work, the guy wondered, had he really managed it alone? The civilians who appeared nearby applauded our hero. They said that it was a great job and that this player was amazing. Did this town really have such a courageous player? Who is this guy really? Our hero thought, this is what it feels like to be the center of attention. He had an incredible feeling. The guy was in no hurry to leave. He let himself savor this moment for a few more seconds. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is happy and says he is proud of his son. The young man thanked his mother. The kid said it was really great and asked that his mom tell him about the vitamins. Constellation Song Hyun-seok gladly accepted her son's request. The ban on access to information about the item Love Vitamins was lifted. The young man learned that it was a pill created from the powder of a 10-year-old ginseng plant growing on the back hill of the Hall of Honor. It not only prolongs life, but also gives strength to the fighter consuming it. Once consumed, all base stats are quadrupled. Our hero was surprised, for he had only read about the powder of 10-year-old ginseng in books. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok asks, "What's weird about giving ginseng to your son?" The young man replies that among all the moms on the planet, she's the only one who feeds her child 10-year-old ginseng. The young man came to his senses and asked again, "Do characteristics quadruple from one pill?" The guy immediately activated the information window in front of him. He examined the player's data. His base stats had been increased by 400%. Our hero thought he was as good as a C-grade player in terms of stats. The kid asked his mom if she could share a C-class weapon with him. Constellation Song Hyun-seok shakes his head and tells his son not to even dream about it. Constellation Sun Hyun-seok says he loves his son but can't spoil him. Constellation Sun Hyun-seok admits he would spend all the divine coins on vitamins, but guns are different. The guy inquired about picking up these divine coins. Is it something like Bitcoin? Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says you can get them for a certain job, but even if it tells you for which one, he still doesn't understand. Suddenly, a car with flashing lights on its roof stopped nearby. The boy thought, here they come. Our hero thought these guys move faster than light. What is the name of the unit responsible for the safety of the city? This unit was called the Volt. Are they really in charge of security? The watchers wondered why they had come. Let them get out. After all, they had arrived too late. The leader of the Volt squad decisively got out of the car and headed towards our hero. The people around them thought, should these people be trusted if they arrive so late? The leader of the Volt squad, looking at the destroyed monsters, inquired about what had happened here. The special representative told our hero that there was a rule that citizens had to abide by. This neighborhood is their responsibility. Why is he interfering? The boy thought, should he really have to hear about the rules from such a man? Constellation Song. Hyun-seok loses patience and becomes agitated. The young man inquired what was wrong. The boy asked, does his mother really want her son to be treated like that? No need to change his mind. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok replied that it's not that. Constellation Song Hyun-suk complains that her son decided to pick a fight with this guy in front of witnesses. Our hero told the interlocutor that he had done their job. Don't they think it would be more appropriate to thank him? The young man added that he must be asking a lot from such a person. The guy said he'd take care of everything here himself, so the Volt Squad could be free. Besides, it was a day off, so they'd better get some rest. The Volt Squad leader told his interlocutor to immediately introduce himself and name his squad. Our hero said that he had recently been reborn and was not a member of the squad. The opponent was surprised. Is he a newcomer? The guy thought they needed the help of the gaming association to deal with the rest of the monsters. Our hero reminded the interlocutor that the remains of the monsters fully belonged to the one who destroyed them. The representative of the Volt Squad thought that he was a super rookie. He had just been reborn and had already reached such a level. The special representative left the young man a business card for their company. The interlocutor said that he was blinded by greed and asked him to forgive him. Our hero replied that he didn't see any problem with that. The interlocutor said if this hero got the association's approval, they would like to invite him to their Volt Squad. Our hero thought that this guy's attitude towards him was changing faster than he could blink. The special spokesman said the young man handled these monsters on his own. He must be a B-class item holder or maybe an A-class item holder. Their squad can provide him with A-class items. The guy asked his interlocutor why the wind was suddenly blowing away from him. The special representative got angry and swung his fist. Our hero asked what was going on. Is the player really going to hit an ordinary citizen? The youngster added that he is not officially a registered player. The guy told the aggressive interlocutor that people were watching, so he should be careful not to provoke. Back in his vehicle, the Volt Squad representative said he would be back again. Our hero told those around him that he was just doing his job. Those present openly admired this guy. Dialing a phone number, the guy said he needed a gaming association. He would like to request help in getting rid of the corpses and gave the address. Constellation Song Hyun-suk, watching the scene, nods contentedly. Constellation Song Hyun-suk blushes and says that he is motherly proud and is going to borrow some divine coins from the constellations he knows. The guy said he didn't need to do that, he could do without it. Constellation Song Hyun-suk asks his son to wait for a while. Constellation flew up and disappeared into the clouds. The guy was surprised and thought it was only the first round anyway. Our hero raised his head and looked at his apartment. A huge stone that had come from the sky looked out of the window. The young man heard someone calling his name. He turned around. Two girls were standing in front of him. One of them said that the young man had saved her sister. If it hadn't been for him, things would have ended badly. The girl said they would like to take him out to dinner. The guy thanked her and declined. The player noticed that one of the girls seemed familiar to him. He also experienced some familiar feeling. The young men were approached by the boys of the association. The guy apologized and told the girl that the members of the association had already arrived. The stranger asked him to take a number and handed him a piece of paper. The girl insisted that he contact her in his spare time. She wanted to give him a treat. It was written on the paper that she was a player from the Mad Dog clan. Her name is Ji-yoon. The boy realized why her face seemed familiar. It's definitely her, Demoness Lee Ji-yoon. A year from now, this girl will have wiped out all the members of her squad. Saying goodbye, the girl said she would wait for a call from the guy. The protagonist wondered how such a nice girl could become a demon. What would happen to her in a year? The guys from the association asked if it was the young man who reported it. Our hero nodded affirmatively. The men in black asked that the guy provide his gaming ID. Our hero replied that he had been reborn this morning and was going to get his ID card soon. The interlocutor asked, "Besides this guy, is there anyone else here?" Did the young man really mean to say that he had single-handedly handled so many ferocious monsters? The representative from the association said that it was physically impossible to destroy more than 10 monsters on the day of rebirth by himself. These guys thought that they were just a common scammer who didn't want to make an ID and went into hiding. Our hero looked at the hand of one of the interlocutors and was very surprised. Does he really have a suppression device equipped with a stun gun? So they want to catch him. The man in black said that this guy should follow them. As he knows, unregistered rebirths are on the rise, and it's no good trying to escape. Sung Hyun-suk's constellation was amazed at what was happening. Constellation Sung Hyun-suk asked, "Who are these people and what do they want?" The guy replied that these people thought he was a criminal. One opponent said he sees this guy talking to a constellation. The man wanted to taser our hero, but he effectively deflected to the side. The man in black said they would have to take action if the young man continued to behave inappropriately. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says there is an item that can erase memories. Does her son want to use it even though he has no divine coins? Constellation Sung Hyun-seok replied that he didn't see the point in spending such a thing on these guys. The interlocutor said that he would advise the guy to go along with them. Otherwise, he would be legally detained for obstruction of duty. The young man agreed, but said he had to call someone. The boy explained that he wanted to contact his caregiver. Jamin called out and told the person he was talking to that he was reborn today. After this, our hero listened for some time to the trustee's displeasure at him. After the interlocutor calmed down a bit, Jamin explained the nature of the problem. The interviewer told the guy to change these workers and there would be no problem. Jamin said he would switch the connection to a video call and asked the caller to keep talking. The man in black inquired who he was talking to. The president of the gaming association was on the line. Our hero thought it was called the power of connections. The next day, the association president Lee Dae-ho asked in surprise, why did Jae-min, as soon as he was reborn, immediately go for degrade monsters? The president added that if Hyun Seok were here, he would call him an irresponsible rascal. The secretary tried to remind the president about his hair, but the old man pulled her back. Our hero knew that the president didn't like anyone talking about his hair. Constellation Sun Hyun Seok laughs out loud and says that the president has even less hair. Jamin remembered the times when this man became his guardian. His mother had told him back then to stay and play with his uncle. She would be back soon. Song Hyun Seok asked this man to take care of her son. At that moment, our hero could not even think that his mom's friend would become his guardian. The trustee turned the monitor screen to Jae-min and said that according to the recent news, there was a breakthrough in the Gwangju area. An unknown player had defeated a squad of orcs in 10 minutes. The president said it was a Hollywood-level show. He told him not to get out. The trustee asked, in that case, what was the meaning of what he said, and asked about the name of the constellation. Our hero thought that the trustee wouldn't believe him if he said it was his mom. Jae-min said that the constellation's nickname was Sword God of the Central Valleys. Does the president know such a president? The president said that the Sword God of the Central Valleys must be respected. The young man wondered, does this rascal really have respect? Lee Dae-ho noticed that Jae-min had become a player, though he hoped the young man would live a normal life. Jae-min thought that he should get his ID card to pass through. However, the president would probably try to stop him as usual. Jae-min said he knows what the trustee is worried about, but he wants to suggest something. Guy added that he knows the association has cyberspace. He is ready to show what he can do. Lee Dae-ho reminded him that his interlocutor had just been reborn. No need to pry there. He could train on orcs for now. Is he really that confident? The aide suggested that Mr. President give this guy a chance. Lee Dae-ho thought about it and said not to let Jae-min complain later himself. Our hero was satisfied that he was able to come to an agreement with the trustee. Seated in the interactive chair of cyberspace, Jae-min was confident. The president said, 5 waves. Lee Dae-ho warned, if the young man could handle it, he would become a player. Otherwise, he could take the consequences. Constellation Song Hyun Seok shakes his head and says that repeating what he said is a sure sign of aging. The trustee asked if the guy read the manual thoroughly. Jae-min replies that he partially looked it over. Lee Dae-ho warned so that this guy wouldn't run to him in tears afterward. The system reported that a connection to cyberspace was in progress. The simulation has begun. The player's consciousness will be connected to the character. 3 minutes left until the first wave begins. It was necessary to choose a weapon. Our hero studied the presented copies. Jaemin's choice was either a sword or a spear. The constellation Song Hyun Seok was surprised at the unexpected choice of weapon. Jae-min was surprised at the constellation's surprise. Song Hyun Seok's constellation made a decision and wished his son the best. It offered to choose any weapon he wanted. Jae-min thought about it and decided that he would take the sword, since he was already used to it. Song Hyun Seok's constellation passed down a talent to his son. The pill containing Song Hyun Seok's power was given to the player. Jae-min held a talent pill in his hands. It reminded him of vitamins. Our hero turned his attention to the information window. The description of the talent pill was cumbersome. The system announced the beginning of the first wave. Competitors appeared in front of our hero. It was necessary to destroy all monsters on the battlefield in a certain period of time. There was only 1 minute of time. The boy realized it was only the first wave, but it all seemed too easy. Also present among the goblins was their boss, a more evolved individual. Jae-min decided that he should take a pill first. Jae-min noticed that he couldn't feel anything. Could it really not be vitamins? Constellation Song. Hyun Seok smiled and said that the effects couldn't be felt without having enough experience. Jae-min thrust his sword forward and put up a decent resistance against the goblins attacking him. After no more than 1 minute, all the goblins were dismembered into pieces. Our hero thought that the talent was showing its full potential. The system reported that the player had successfully adopted the talent of Constellation Sun Hyun Seok. Jae-min felt that he began to move differently. That's talent. Constellation Song Hyun Seok is proud and says it's great because they are related. Now it was the turn to fight the boss monster. His opponent was armed with a club. Lee Dae-ho, who was watching the fight through the monitor screen, was surprised to see what was happening. The system reported the end of the fourth wave and the beginning of the fifth. Those observing our hero said that Mr. Chuang Jaemin must be at least B grade. Lee Dae-ho wondered why this guy was so good at fighting. It was surprising that the president's wards were able to deal with the boss with such ease. To destroy such an orc, one would need at least a C-class squad. The president's breathing, habits, and sword-wielding seemed familiar. Was it really Sun Hyun-seok? No, Song Hyun-seok couldn't train him. She sacrificed her life to save humanity when Jaemin was only 10 years old. This boy was just an ordinary kid in those years. Then it turns out that Jaemin is extremely talented. The secretary told the president not to worry too much because it would affect his hair. Lee Dae-ho angrily objected, saying that he told her not to mention his hair. Lee Dae-ho sighed and thought that it was impossible to run away from genes. Our hero told the president that something was missing. The guy added that he fought hard and only got kudos. It's not enough for him. Jaemin says to have the president add 5 more waves. He wants more. Jaemin said if he did well, the trustee would give him some equipment forever. The young man remarked that this was a serious reward, so if he failed, it could be recognized that he didn't pass the 5th wave. Lee Dae-ho was surprised. Was it possible to reach such a level on the day of rebirth? However, talent does not always guarantee survivability. On the battlefield, you may encounter monsters that can destroy everything in the vicinity with a single breath of wind. Lee Dae-ho thought, he can't let this guy become a player. The president told the specialist that he needed to step away for a few minutes. Jae-min thought that the trustee would need time to reply. Maybe asking for a C-grade weapon was too much? The president said he agreed to the young man's terms. Lee Dae-ho added that he wanted to make some adjustments. Jae-min doesn't have to wait for the 10th wave. If he can defeat all the monsters that are about to appear, he'll do whatever the guy wants. Ji-min noticed the monsters in front of him began to activate. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok gets angry and says that the president could have just refused the offer instead of cheating. The B-class boss, Cerberus, appears in front of our hero. Jaemin thought that there was some kind of mistake. Constellation Song Hyun-seok told her son to be more careful. Jaemin shouted that this monster was coming. The middle dog's head spewed out a blob of flame. Why would a monster do that? A stream of flame flew outward and blew our hero aside. The young man found himself lying on the ground. Rising to his feet, Jaemin thought that this was just crazy. How on earth is he supposed to defeat this Cerberus? Constellation Song Hyun-seok says that she finally remembered. Jaemin wondered, what was it that his mother remembered? Constellation Sung Hyun-seok, with a tense face, remembers the past and says that she once destroyed Cerberus. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok proudly cocks her chin and says she knows what to do. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok suggests getting the monster's attention by throwing some object. Jaemin wondered, does he really have to play with that dog? After all, it doesn't make sense. Cerberus continued to growl and was ready to rush in to attack. Jaemin thought that he couldn't drop the sword because if it didn't work out, he would be left unarmed. Jaemin decided he was going to try throwing the glove and shouted for the dog to catch. The glove flew far to the side and Cerberus, forgetting his opponent, turned his attention to the flying object. Jaemin was surprised. Did it really work? The dog, wagging his tail, ran after the glove. The protagonist was surprised. Are these kinds of techniques really used against B-class monsters? Constellation Song Hyun-seok laughs and says that a dog always remains a dog, no matter how intimidating it looks. Jae-min thought that the monster was bringing the grabbed item to its master. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says that Cerberus' most vulnerable spot is on the left top of his head. You need to hit it with a single blow. While the dog was dealing with the glove, Jae-min approached him from behind and decided to end it with one punch. Jae-min thought that this place was like a second heart for monsters. The skin there is quite thin, so his strength would be enough to break through the head. Jae-min jumped up and activated the reinforcement. After eliminating the monster, the hero, leaving the capsule, said that the president had cheated. Why did he send Cerberus to me? Lee Dae-ho said that the guy acted dishonestly. The trustee apologized and said he didn't think Jae-min could handle this mission. The president asked how the young man did it. Jae-min, without revealing any details, said it was easy. The president had no choice and said Jae-min could be a player. Lee Dae-ho said that now Jae-min has to show the gear he wants to get. The president thought it was only available to A-class players and above. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok wants to pick out a new outfit as soon as possible. The boy asks his mom, because she's excited too, right? The duty officer asked what brought Mr. President. Jae-min told the trustee that he could handle it himself, and he could go back to his business. Lee Dae-ho said he couldn't do that. After all, someone important to me is picking out equipment, so I have to accompany him. Lee Dae-ho noticed that he had a lot of advice to give, and the guy could trust him. The president has ordered all the gear we have to bring in. Lee Dae-ho told the young man that the association had a secret vault. where truly valuable items were kept. And here they were, completely useless. The hero thought that there is only one truly valuable item in this world. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok convinces his son to take a look at the curved sword of the master of the Forest of Plawns, and highly recommends the weapon. Jaemin thought that his mother and guardian were tearing him apart. Something else had already caught his eye. Jaemin remembered how he once looked at the TV screen. The man in the TV said that, in an instant, a window of information appeared in front of his eyes. The system seemed to be beckoning him. The hero became jealous when he saw on the news a man who became famous only through a lucky coincidence. Lee Chan-hyuk took an almost completely broken weapon from an acquaintance, and no one could think it was a valuable item. That man was a rookie like Jaemin, but in an instant, his life changed drastically. No matter how much time passed, the hero couldn't forget how terribly jealous he was of him. Jaemin took the sword he liked and said he was choosing this weapon. Lee Dae-ho said that they were going to throw that trash away. Jaemin stated that he would take care of it himself. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says his son is crazy, gets angry, and demands that the guy put the sword back immediately. The hero said he made his choice. The president said for Jaemin to come to his senses and come to his senses. You fought Cerberus so hard and made such a bad choice. Jaemin asked the trustee if he could borrow his car. Lee Dae-ho replied that he didn't care. Jaemin said he was going to go tomorrow, but he thinks he should hurry up. After a while, the driver brought the hero to his destination. Just in case, the boy reminded his mother that he had been reborn. Jaemin told the constellation that this sword should have belonged to Lee Chan-hyuk. Thanks to that sword, that guy became an A-class player. Jaemin asked what items could be used to advance the fastest. Our hero wanted to know what it was like to wield a powerful weapon. He would soon reach the A-class. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok asked, "Why is the sun climbing the mountain?" Jaemin replied that his mother would find out soon. The guy looking around said it had to be around here somewhere. Looking in the right direction, Jaemin said what he found. This is just a random portal. It's a variation portal that has a special shape, location, and mana level. Stretching his hand forward, Jaemin said that he could already feel the portal starting to attract him. Suddenly, the protagonist felt someone else's energy. Someone told our hero to stay where he was. Jaemin turned around and saw some unfamiliar people. Jaemin thought that these guys had used a skill. It turns out they had been following him all this time. Jaemin didn't sense their presence because of the skill. His characteristics weren't that good yet. Constellation Song Hyun-seok encouraged his son and said that he would soon become stronger. The leader of the group of strangers wondered, doesn't this guy still realize what's going on here? The opponent said that his squad was dishonored because of this rascal. Our hero could not realize who was in front of him. The man said they'd already seen each other this morning. Had he forgotten? Constellation Song Hyun-seok looked at the man and said he didn't know him, but could conclude that he had no sense of tact at all. Opponent said he was with the Bolt Squad. This guy stole their work. Doesn't he have any shame? Jaemin said that he thought they had closed the topic as early as this morning. His opponent wondered, who is this guy to decide whether they closed the issue or not? He said his interlocutor had a choice. The first option is to die. The second option is to get on all fours and start barking like a dog, asking for forgiveness. He will also have to clean up their house every day. If he behaves well, they will take him in as a servant. Jaemin turned around and said that he wished good luck to these guys. The guy walked over to the portal and reached into it. He said he didn't have time for these people. A bright glow was emanating from the portal. Jaemin decided to get inside and took a step forward. Special Vault Unit was confused. Where did this young man go? The system reported that the player had entered a hidden dungeon, the Royal Chambers. It looked like an ordinary cave. In the task it was written that it was necessary to find the King of Doom slumbering somewhere in the chambers. The hero will not be able to leave this place until his knees touch the floor. If the player does not meet the 30 minutes, his soul will be forever imprisoned in the king's chambers. No reward is offered for this quest. The timer started counting down, and Jaemin took a step forward. Our hero once again reminded his mom that he was reborn and she had no need to worry. Suddenly, the soldiers of the special unit Volt appeared. These people said the boss pushed them into this portal. Are they all going to die? Looks like they've entered a real dungeon. Jaemin looked at these people and said that they were a pitiful sight. The fighters saw our hero and told him not to try to escape if his life was dear to him. Jaemin asked, do they really think their boss sent them here to destroy him? People armed themselves with sticks and said that they had to go through a lot because of this man. It is not fair, and they are ready to destroy him. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is looking for an object that can turn back the flow of suffering. Jaemin tells his mom not to do that. Opponents wondered why he kept talking to his invisible mom. Could it be that he was the first to tell her of his death? Suddenly there were strange sounds, and skeletons armed with swords jumped out of the darkness. Constellation Song Hyun-seok was scared, however. Her son told his mom not to worry. Jaemin said that he had been waiting for them to appear. They were the skeletons of the Dragon Squad. There was a loud roar. It was the terror of the dragon. The roar of a dragon unit meant to terrify the enemies. Constellation Song Hyun-seok says that the dragon can be repelled with a potion. Jaemin says he has it under control. Our hero knew this would happen, but it didn't make it any easier. Is this really the dragon's terror? The Volt Special Unit fighters dropped their sticks. They shouldn't have come here. They had a bad feeling from the start. Jaemin thought that these guys were just terrified. However, he wasn't the least bit scared. Our hero put his magic sword forward and headed for the monsters. The skeleton lunged at Jaemin with a roar, but the guy effectively repelled its attack. Jaemin, trying to reassure his mom, said that he chose that sword for a reason. The system reported that the servants are paying their respects to their king. The player is under the protection of the servants. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok stated that it was unbelievable. The skeletons knelt down and bowed to their lord. Our hero said that they were now his subjects. This was accomplished thanks to the sword. Jaemin asked the skeletons if they wanted to have some fun and pointed at the guys standing off to the side. Our hero expressed hope that the skeletons would get along with those guys. The skeletons roared even louder and rushed to attack the Bolt Special Unit fighters. Wielding swords, the skeletons did their bloody work. Our hero said there was no point in trying to attack him. Nothing good will come of it, they've only hurt themselves. He can't be broken, he learned that as a child. Constellation Song Hyun-seok sends punishment to his son. A love kick was sent to the player. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok is angry at his son for his words. The young man apologized and said he was wrong. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says it's too late to apologize and turns away. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok says he can't forgive his son and Constellation is in process. The process is complete and mom has been disengaged. Jaemin was upset. What did it all mean? The system reported that there were 12 hours left until mom's return. Our hero was offered a nanny. He was surprised because he was no longer a child. Jaemin thought, where could his mom have gone? Is the Constellation really allowed to do that? Constellation Sung Hyun-seok urges his son to deal with the dungeon as soon as possible. Our hero had no idea what was to happen to him in 12 hours. He decided to begin now to clean up the dungeon. The skeletons moved after their leader. Jaemin thought that they made good subordinates. A huge dragon statue appeared in front of our hero. The protagonist got close to the dragon and said he was starting. Jaemin raised his sword and pointed it towards the stone dragon's head. The dragon's eyes lit up and, like searchlights, illuminated our hero. Jaemin thought it meant agreeing to cooperate. Our hero told the dragon to reveal a special challenge to him. The system reported that there was a request to open access to the Forbidden Dungeon, and the royal decree was honored. The tomb of Fafnir has been traveled, but the employees who got into the portal saw members of their association wiped out. How did that happen? It's hard to believe anyone could do that alone. The employees thought their boss just left these guys to die. He didn't think of them at all. If anyone had survived, they would have left the ward right away. They have to find and catch Hwang Jae-min. Jaemin remembered that Lee Chan-yok had talked about it on TV back then. Fafnir's tomb. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok said that it's pretty hot for a tomb. He added that this is the first time he's been in such a horrible place. Our hero realized that the situation here is tense, but he needs to find something. Jaemin decided that he would get his hands on it by all means. The guy moved through the liquid hot substance his feet were mired in. Suddenly, someone's hands appeared from the ground and began to cling to him. The system has reported that Lake Rock has recognized royal status. Those with this status will receive a special offer. Lake of Doom's proposal is taking shape. The system has reported that you cannot interrupt the king's command skill until progress is complete. Jaemin didn't know what kind of lake this was, nor did he want to know. However, our hero knew for sure that his sword was the king of this place, and he would get his hands on this sacred weapon. The people who arrived at the Stone Dragon were surprised. Why were all the skeletons gathered here? After all, they were the skeletons of the Dragon Squad. The commander ordered everyone to prepare for battle. We have to fight back against the skeletons. Fire attacks went into battle, and the mutual destruction began. The fireball was approaching the Stone Dragon's head. Jaemin waited tensely, thrusting his sword forward. 10 seconds remained. The countdown began. The system reported that the secret dungeon had been attacked by outsiders. The process of forming a special offer was interrupted. Fafnir's tomb has been opened. The previously resting Fafnir was awakened by the invasion. The survivors approached our hero and asked what Jaemin was doing here. The guy said he had to ask this question. How did they end up here? Did they fall out of the sky? The leader said that Jaemin's time is running out and he should prepare to die. The system has reported that Lake of Doom is restarting the process. You can't interrupt the skill King's Order until the process is over. Our hero said that the process resumed, and he thought that the chance had already passed. The opponent asked if the guy realized what was going on here. Right now, that fireball in his hand would turn Jamin's head into ashes. Our hero thought he couldn't last a full minute. That's just crazy. Constellation Song Hyun-seok sends support to his son, a talent pill and an enhanced shield. Jamin rejoiced. He assumed that the C-class shield would help him last this minute. While the setup and activation process lasted, the opponents prepared to attack our hero. Suddenly, there was a noise. What's going on? Jamin wondered what had happened to his shield. Someone asked loudly if they knew what he disliked the most. He asks again if those present know what he dislikes most. The huge monster that appeared nearby said that he didn't like waking up in the middle of the night. The people were scared and thought they were about to die. They shouldn't have come here. What kind of monster's that? The system has reported that Lake of Doom is restarting the process. You cannot interrupt the King's Command skill until the process is complete. Jamin thought that the situation was getting out of control again. Could it really be restarting again? He wouldn't be enough for this minute. The monster had said that all mortals were in front of him now. How could they have the nerve to break into his chambers? Our hero thought it was the Dragon Lord Fafnir. He can feel the power of his pressure. What to do now? Constellation Song Hyun-seok sends support to his son urgently. Jamin wondered what else his mom had come up with. Our hero shouted that we should wait one more minute. Jamin shouted that he had an idea on how to save himself. So if these people wanted to live, they should wait one more minute. The fighters were surprised. Did this guy really think that something would change in 1 minute? Jamin said that they had to trust him anyway, because there was no other way. One of the warriors said that a minute was not much, and he would now prepare for battle to last that time. The monster held his fist near his bloody chest and asked, "Does he really have to wait for these people?" The protagonist and the warriors of the Bolt Special Unit looked at the monster who was expressing his displeasure. The monster saw the sword in Jamin's hands and asked, "Why is an object full of his spiritual power in these filthy hands? He won't let this person touch his soul." The monster activated a blob of dark energy in front of him. The Special Unit fighters watched with tension as the monster approached them. Jamin mentally asked these guys to hold on a little longer. Our hero commanded his underlings to attack the monster. The skeletons, waving their swords, clung to the huge monster. Our hero realized that the skeletons would help him as long as they considered him their king. Jamin told the people to join the skeletons. They need help. The monster was tossing the skeletons aside and yelling for those pesky gnats to get away from him. Our hero needed the humans and skeletons to last just a little bit longer. The system reported that the process had started. A circle with glowing signs appeared on the lake in front of Jamin. The monster shouted, "How dare this man start the generation process?" He ordered the skeletons to unhook themselves from him now. Jamin said the process has been successfully completed. Our hero wondered why his sword had disappeared. The column of light from the lake rose all the way to the sky. The hands rising from the bottom of the lake began to generate a glowing core. The monster shrieked, "How dare he do that?" Jiming held this glowing core in his hands and thought with astonishment, "Is this really his sacred sword?" The glowing orb faded, and in the hands of our hero was an ordinary backpack. The boy checked the contents of his backpack and wondered, "Why is it empty? Where's his sword?" The monster continued to rage. What did the Lake of Doom like this man so much? Why did it choose him? The beast couldn't believe that this guy had managed to get his hands on the most powerful weapon. But it's a weapon that's out of people's league. Jaming was surprised. What kind of powerful weapon are we talking about? After all, he's holding an ordinary bag. People were screaming that they couldn't hold on any longer. Their strength was running out. Our hero said, "That's it. All that's left is to get out of here as soon as possible." Jamin claimed that he knew how to get out of here and told these people to trust him. Our hero thought it would be a good time to use what his mom gave him. Jamin thought his mom was just a genius. The people present saw that this guy was holding a teleportation stone. But it was only for one person. "What is this guy up to?" Jamin asked. "Why would I help those who tried to destroy me? It's not like I promised them that I would help them get out of here." Our hero waved to these people and wished them good luck. The monster with blazing eyes asked, "When did this man get ready?" The monster raised a huge paw above the terrified humans. After using the teleportation stone, Jaiming found himself back in the forest near the portal. He didn't think it would be so difficult to use the stone. The leader of the Volt Special Forces unit asked, "How did that person end up here?" Jamin wondered, "Are they really still here?" The opponent asked our hero, "Where are all the others?" Jamin replied that they were all dead. The leader of the Bolt Squad swung his fist and asked, "Is this boy ready for a fight?" Our hero thought, "If only I had a holy sword, I could take them all down in one fell swoop." In his hands, however, was an ordinary empty bag. There was a flash in the bag. The system reported that the Pandora's box had been activated. The box is capable of generating any weapon according to its owner's needs. A glowing stream began to surge outward from the bag. The leader of the Volt Squad ordered his subordinates to prepare to attack. Jae-ming thought, is Pandora's box really capable of generating any weapon? It turns out that he can create any weapon he wants whenever he wants. The protagonist couldn't believe it. Is this some kind of joke? This bag is capable of generating weapons. It was interesting to see what the bag would generate now. It turns out that this weapon is not only effective against monsters, but also against humans. An automatic firearm appeared in our hero's hands. Those present were surprised. How did he get a machine gun? No one knew beforehand that he was armed. Jae-ming took his weapon off the safety and said that they were all finished. The morning news reported that the previous day, an unknown player had single-handedly defeated a squad of orcs. Who was this mysterious player? The town continued to discuss this heroic act. While our hero was resting, he received messages on his phone from representatives of various squads. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is surprised and says that her son has over 20 unread messages. Jae-min was angry. Once he was on TV once, everyone immediately made a fuss. Constellation Song Hyun-seok cries tears of joy and says his son has grown up quickly. Jae-min told his mom that, thanks to her uncle, he now has a place to live. It's all thanks to the merger. The news went on to report that the Volt Squad responsible for order in the Gwanak area had never been found. Jae-min thought that the authorities would try to find those people, even felt a little sorry for them. The protagonist recalled using an automatic weapon the night before. Constellation Song Hyun-seok reassures his son and says that he would have died otherwise. Jae-min told his mother that he wants to become stronger. He doesn't want to remain an ordinary F-class player. Now he has Pandora's box, although it's more like a bag. It has invisibility, so no one can detect it. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok asks, when did he get ready so early? Leaving the house, the hero replied to his mother that he was going to become stronger. Perhaps he should start by getting a license. There was pandemonium in the class system squad. The representatives of the various squads were asking the hero to join them. Constellation Song Hyun-seok suggests using a soporific spray against all those people. Jae-min says he has another idea. The guy announced that whoever got in his way would never get a chance to be in the same squad with him. Immediately, everyone parted and let Jae-min go forward. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok is proud of his son. The assistant asked the hero's name and clarified whether he was ready to proceed with the evaluation procedure for the credentialing. Jae-min said his name and replied that he was ready. The protagonist realized that he would have to enter cyberspace again. Once seated in the capsule, Jae-min told his assistant that he was ready to begin. The system announced that the evaluation procedure had begun. Task: destroy as many monsters as possible in 30 minutes. The hero was not mistaken. As expected, he will fight against the same monster as the first time. Jae-ming saw a stone ball appear in front of him. The young man said he is not the same now as he was before. The system reported that the Pandora's box item has been used. The bag was capable of generating any weapon depending on the needs of the owner. The hero wondered what would happen this time. 2 guns appeared in Jae-min's hands. The guy said he was ready to start. Those present watching the fight were definitely eager to get the young man in their squad. His performance was beyond imagination. One of those watching said they would not let such talent fall into greedy hands. The Players Association is recruiting the future heroes of the nation. The constellation Monk of Greed is reflected in his eyes. It promises a bounty to the person whose squad Jae-min agrees to join. The girl near where the constellation was located said that she was drooling with impatience. She wondered what class the kid would get, maybe a C grade? The system reported that the grading procedure was complete. The attendees were surprised. The guy actually got a B grade. He had just been reborn yesterday and he was already a B grade. The hero left the class system ward under the close scrutiny of those around him. Those who wanted to get the boy for themselves began to offer him to join their squad again. Each one guaranteed the best conditions. The stranger in red suggested that Jae-min join them for the sake of the nation. She said that with strength comes responsibility. If Jae-min agreed to help ensure everyone's safety and work for the nation's interests, the country would become a truly powerful nation. The people present wondered, why do these people need Jae-min? They already have a lot of money. However, they have special teaching methods. This girl's name is Seo Ji-soo. Seo Ji-soo and Jae-min met gazes. The young man wondered, what was happening to him? His eyes trembled. The guy thought it was the curse of possession, a magical skill that could control the spirit of any living thing. Seo Ji-soo thought, no matter how good he is, he's still only B grade. He won't be able to resist her curse of A-grade obsession. This was the most powerful skill of the Greed Monk constellation. Seo Ji-soo thought that this guy would still belong to her. Jae-min thanked and said he didn't want to. Seo Ji-soo wondered, Why doesn't her skill work on him? Jaemin asked. Was she really that surprised by his refusal? The girl was informed that the Curse of Possession skill could not be used against this player. She was furious. How could this be possible? Jaemin was startled. What was that? He was on edge. Jaemin heard someone's voice. It was amazing. How did that guy manage to resist this? He's an extraordinary person. What would have happened if the dark force took hold of his soul and will? Our hero heard a woman's voice. The system reported that Jaemin's nanny had connected. The day before, the constellation's Sung Hyun Seok said he would send him a babysitter, but he completely forgot. Jaemin swiveled his head. Where's Jenya? A woman's voice asked. Wouldn't he rather deal with the pressing problem first? Jaemin wondered. Could she really be reading his mind? The voice replied that they could communicate through the power of thought. The voice said that Jaemin almost fell into that woman's trap. Fortunately, she had arrived in time and brought him to his senses. A few more seconds and her power would have consumed him completely. The nanny says she has to keep an eye on Jaemin until his mom gets back and hopes they get along. The nanny suggested thinking about joining the squad. Our hero agreed that it was necessary to deal with this issue first. The people present began to wonder again if Jaemin would agree to join any Q squad. Jaemin looked at one of the people present and decided that he had already found a squad. He had made his choice. Jaemin thought that there's nothing else anyone can offer him. He knows which squad he wants to join. This man was the only one who was silent and didn't try to lure him to join. Our hero approached the man and addressed him. Lee Chanyak joined this guild 6 months ago. The man didn't expect it and asked, Is there really something wrong with him? Jaemin said, If that person is okay with it, I would like to sign a contract with his guild, Black Lion. Those present were surprised. Is he really going to join these scum? He's out of his mind. Jaemin saw how surprised the man was. He didn't expect it, but of course he agreed. Jaemin knew that through them, he would be able to get more information about the Evil Mist dungeon. Already in the car, the man introduced himself. His name is Ho Ji Hwan. Ho Ji Hwan said that at Black Lion, he is in charge of scouting and tracking portals. Ji Hwan added that they don't have such a big squad, and it won't be easy to compete with others. But they will try to create the best conditions for Jaemin. Jaemin told his interlocutor not to worry. He had already made his choice. Ho Ji Hwan apologized for being intrusive. Jaemin replied that it was fine. The nanny said that Jaemin had chosen a good squad, and he would get 15 points for such a wise decision. Jaemin was fine with it and thought, where could he use these glasses? The nanny said he'd find out soon. He'd still need them, so they could be put away in a hiding place for now. She would have liked to give him more points, but was told she had to be stricter. The car braked sharply. Jaemin asked, what happened? There was a rift up ahead. The rift is the phenomenon of monster invasion due to the dungeon rupture. The players must be contacted. Ji Hwan said regretfully that he only wanted to take a shortcut and he was sorry. Jaemin said there was nothing to apologize for. If anyone should be blamed, it's the players. They can't even clear a normal portal. No wonder rifts started appearing. Jaemin said, they better hurry into the portal and destroy all the monsters. Ji Hwan said that the portal closes after entering, so there's probably nothing that can be done. Jaemin suggested that the creator should be blamed for creating such a dungeon system, if he existed, of course. Ji Hwan smiled and replied that it was a good idea. The military has announced that it is becoming dangerous to be near the portal. It's about to rupture and a monster will come out. Why aren't the players still at the site? Jaemin wondered. What kind of monster was this? And why would the portal burst? A monster had indeed appeared from the portal. It looked quite dangerous. The military decided to retreat. Jaemin realized that there was an ogre giant in front of them, and a two-headed one at that. He's no lower than a C-class. Our hero inquired about the reward for the C-class monster. Jaemin got out of the car. It's not easy to defeat a C-class monster, but he thinks he's capable of it. In any case, he can't ignore this event. Jaemin decided that he needed to at least make up for destroying the players somehow. The military officer announced that there was no further passage. It was a restricted area. We must retreat. Jaemin activated his ID card and presented it to the military man. The guy added that he needed to be let through. The military man got excited and said they had been waiting for a player for a long time. Jaemin went one-on-one with the monster and told it to pay attention to him. The nanny asked in surprise, is Jaemin really going to fight a C-class monster alone? That's careless, but deserves respect. The military recognized our hero and said that it was the same player. Nanny added that such dedication is beyond admirable. If he pulls it off, she'll give him another 20 points. Looking at the snarling opponent, our hero thought that even before he was reborn, he had learned everything about this monster. He knows its weaknesses. The system has reported that Pandora's box is opening. The best weapon will be selected against the monster. Jaemin said that it was about time. A magical bow appeared in our hero's hands. Ji Ming prepared to fire, and thought that he should first destroy the head of the monster with one glittering eye. The boy drew the bowstring and took aim. He had to hit the eye of the right head. The monster was too late to react. He raised his hand to intercept the arrow. The arrow hit the target exactly, and there was an explosion. Jamin said he hit the bullseye. The monster, bleeding black blood, roared loudly. The protagonist was satisfied. The system has reported that Pandora's box is opening. The best weapon will be selected against the monster. In the hands of our hero was a magic sword. Jamin swung his sword and jumped onto the two-headed monster. The guy pushed off the monster's body, jumped high up, and stabbed it with his sword right in the eye. Jamin pointed out that he had hit a vulnerable spot, so the penetration should go down. Now we need to focus on the main point. It's the neck. The player approached the vulnerable spot from behind and delivered several staggering sword strikes to the monster, screaming in pain. The monster was spinning in one place, but it couldn't do anything. Jamin continued to stab the monster in the neck. The villain was defeated and fell face down, blood from his wounds spurting in different directions. The military was surprised by the fact that this player was able to deal with such a huge monster so quickly. The Bolt Squad is not even close to him. Ho Ji-hwan, sitting behind the wheel of his personal vehicle, thought that this guy was extremely good. He didn't think that someone like Jamin would want to join his squad. The nanny said it was great and incredible. However, she added that she had some urgent business to attend to. The babysitter stated that she had to run right away. She would give the boy 20 points. He should check the status in the data summary afterwards. The nanny added that they would see each other soon. Jamin wondered what else could be seen in the summary. Our hero waved his fingers and activated the profile screen. Jamin saw the player's data in front of him. After studying all the information, he found something new. He wondered how he could increase his performance with points, since they were not in the game right now. Jamin was pleasantly surprised. He had never even heard of such a thing before. Could it be that he was the exception? Constellation Song. Hyun-seok is happy to see his son and asks if he has been behaving well with his nanny. Our hero is happy that his mom is back. Jamin said that he had a good time with his nanny, and he wants to see her again soon. Looking at the information screen, Jamin was trying to decide how he should allocate points to the characteristics. The Constellation Song Hyun-seok advises to think about which characteristic increase he needs most. Jamin rejoiced. He realized which characteristic was the best to choose. Our hero has adopted the abilities of his parents thanks to the skill, You Can't Escape from Genes. This skill increases the characteristics and increases the ability to wield any weapon. Jamin thought that he was now capable of doing anything under any circumstances. He could handle any role now, from tank to supporter. The system reported that the player had successfully distributed points. Jamin noted that he had an average characteristic score above 65. Before he was reborn, he had not even reached 30. A normal person would have taken more than 3 years to accomplish this, but he had achieved this result in 2 days. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is surprised and asks how weak he was before he was reborn. Jamin says he doesn't want to discuss the topic. Our hero thought that the Black Lion Squad was like a lifetime to him. In his past life, he had to suffer a lot because of the sword god of the Central Valleys. And there was only one person who had always been there for him, even in the most difficult times. For that, Jamin was very grateful to him. Ho Ji-hwan escorted the new player to their squad office. Now it was time to see the jerk boss. Director Park Jong-soo introduced himself and said he was glad to meet him. He asked if the young man had really gotten a B grade on the day of rebirth. Jamin thought that this man hadn't changed a bit. Our hero shook his hand and said he was pleased to be the newest member of the Black Lion Squad. Director Park Jong-soo said that the rumors were true. He sees a very unusual person in front of him. Jamin thought that he is now seeing the nastiest person he knows. Just remembering how he treated our hero makes his blood boil in his veins. Park Jong-soo said earlier that the son of S-class players is good for nothing himself. The legendary couple produced a bunch of trash. Park Jong-soo said at the time that Jamin had no chance. Maybe he should invest the money he got from his parents into the development of the squad. Constellation Song Hyun-seok trembles with anger. It asks through gritted teeth if they can't just nail this person. Park Jong-soo said, "It turns out Mr. Ji-hwan isn't so useless." Jamin thought, how can that rude man talk to his elders like that? Park Jong-soo asked what Jamin thought about the welcome party. Jamin replied that he would like to be tested first. The director said there was no need for that. They had already seen his abilities. Jamin would be accepted into the squad without trials. Jamin insisted he wants to pass the test. Skipping the test would be against the rules. Park Jong-soo was surprised because they agreed to make an exception. Our hero said he wanted to show what he could do. The director agreed. He was even curious to see what Jamin had in store for them. Jamin asks if Park Jong-soo is going too. The principal remarked that he never leaves his troop, for it is not for nothing that he is called the best leader. Jaemin thought that no one called him that, but it was even good that Park Jong-soo agreed to go. In the dungeon, Park Jong-soo insulted the staff and said that they were just pathetic looking. They were much worse than the guy who just got his ID. The participants of the operation thought that this director only knows how to shout, but he himself has not done anything useful so far. Suddenly, a Bantatra monster appeared in front of the players. It made a loud sound and a bright flash, and everyone was frightened. One of the players fell to the ground and shouted that his eyes were hurt. The director expressed his displeasure. Can't they even handle such a simple task? Jaemin took out his dagger and said that he would deal with it himself, and struck multiple blows at that monster. Bantatra is mana-dependent. Therefore, when fighting this monster, you should focus on destroying its source. Park Jong-soo got excited and said that Jaemin is a super player. He is even smarter than originally expected. The director told the players not to let Mr. Jaemin leave their squad. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is certain that the leader has problems controlling aggression and advises against relying on such inadequate people. A dead end appeared in front of the players. Is it impossible to go any further? Jaemin stepped forward, reached out his hand, and activated the holographic image on the wall. He said he had seen such a thing in a movie. The wall lit up and gems glittered on it. Park Jong-soo took command and told everyone to get their tools ready. He was personally ready to nail whoever was lazy. Players set about forging gems. It's a veritable treasure trove. They're very lucky. The director was pushing and telling me to get as many jewels as possible. Suddenly, the wall shattered into small pieces and a huge monster appeared. What's going on? A giant mole monster appeared in front of the players. With glaring eyes, it growled menacingly. The players got scared and started scattering in different directions. Constellation Song Hyun-seok says that her son is strong enough to handle that monster. Jaemin replies that he'll get into the fight when everyone has moved away to a safe distance. The principal activated the fireball in his hand. Park Jong-soo swung around and threw that ball straight into the wall, without waiting for the players to move away to a safe distance. The fireball caused the wall to collapse even more. The gems were now just falling to the ground. However, the hole in the wall began to tighten, with the players remaining on the other side of the wall, along with the monster. People didn't understand what was happening and started calling for help. Jaemin shouted, "What is the director doing?" Park Jong-soo, smiling, said that after getting full, that monster would hibernate again. The director added that he had fed that monster, and a new player shouldn't be so naive. Park Jong-soo added that they would wait for the monster to fall asleep and take all the jewelry. However, it won't be easy for the two of them to take everything out. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok was at a loss for words. The director said we can take a break for now and have some snacks. Jae-min was angry. He grabbed the man's head and slammed him to the ground. Our hero said that the saying is right. People don't change. After dealing with the director, our hero said that now was just the right moment and thanked him for making his life easier. If he didn't want to get another one, he should get up and start sorting out the stones. Park Jong-soo was lying there and didn't react. Did he pass out from the light slap? Constellation Sun Hyun-seok scolds his son and says he should have taken care of the players first. Ji-ming walked to the wall and shouted for the people on the other side to move farther away from the wall. Our hero activated the amplification mode and channeled a huge charge of energy into his hand. Jae-ming hit the wall with all his might and shattered it. People ran out through the opening and thanked Mr. Jaemin, calling him their savior. The mole monster continued to growl loudly. Jaemin said for these people to run as far away from here as possible. The system has reported that Pandora's box is opening. The best weapon will be selected against the monster. Our hero wondered what would happen this time. A spear appeared in Jaemin's hands. Against this ferocious monster, the spear is the best weapon because it's better to keep your distance with it. Our hero was ready to fight the merciless beast. Jae-min put his spear forward and moved to attack. The mole monster struck with its huge paw, but the player managed to bounce back. Jae-min realized that at a distance, the beast wouldn't catch him. The protagonist jumped up and over the beast, stabbing it in the neck with his spear. Blood spurted in all directions. Park Jong-soo, rubbing his head, rose to his feet. The player saw him and said that this rascal was going to leave them and run away. The principal was furious. How dare this guy hit him? He decided that he would destroy Jae-min. Park Jong-soo activated the fireball again and intended to throw it at our hero. The players shouted for him to stop. The players decided to disarm their director and moved on him. The director shouted for them to get out immediately. However, it was too late, and Park Jong-soo threw a fireball at Jae-min. Our hero managed to bounce to the side and the fireball hit the monster directly. The monster screamed loudly in pain. It had received multiple burns to its head. The players were scared that the monster would get even angrier. They decided that they needed to run away, or they would be doomed. The mole monster, filled with hatred, directed its aggression at Park Jong-soo. The principal was frightened and shouted for the monster to stay away from him. Park Jong-soo said that he is the leader of the Black Lion and should not be touched. However, the monster did not listen to the principal and destroyed him. Constellation Song Hyun-seok told his son that his chance had come and added that the monster's weak spot was the back of his head. Jae-min swung around and threw the spear, which came out of the monster's mouth after piercing the back of the monster's head. The slain monster fell to the ground. The monster was destroyed. The protagonist was victorious, but there was a strange feeling about him. Song Hyun-seok's constellation praised his son and said that the boy has a great knack for timing. Jae-min approached the players and asked how they were feeling. The people thanked the hero for saving them. Jae-min said that the director got what he deserved, but he didn't think that Park Jong-soo would die this way. Park Jong-soo turned into ashes. It wasn't the first time Jae-min had seen this, but he still couldn't get used to it. Those guys from the Bolt Squad turned to ash, too. It's probably a good thing they were reported missing. The system reported that Pandora's box consumes a corpse with the voraciousness skill. Pandora's box has been improved. Jae-min was pleasantly surprised to learn that Pandora's box was improving. Apparently, this is due to the absorption of corpses. Our hero opened the information window and studied the data presented about the Pandora's box item. The protagonist wondered what skill awaited him at level 2. Jae-min decided that it was time for him to get out of here. The guy walked over to the players, who had already started collecting gems. They said they would do whatever Jae-min ordered. Jae-min said that they should join forces, collect the treasures, and get out of here faster. It was announced on the surface that Mr. Park Jong-soo had died fighting the monster. However, the players told the whole truth. The principal wanted to feed them to the monster. If it wasn't for Mr. Jae-min, they wouldn't be here. Ji-hwan said that now they have difficulties because the leader is no longer there and Black Lion has to be dissolved. Jae-min suggested that Ji-hwan take the position of squad leader. The man was surprised. It was a complete surprise to him. The players were supportive. It's a great idea as this guy is a good judge of character. The people present decided to vote. Ji-hwan was at a loss. Could he really become the leader of the Black Lion? One of the set goals our hero seems to have accomplished. Now, Ji-hwan will be in charge of the squad. After all, our hero was overly grateful to this man for what he had done for him in his past life. Ji-hwan asked, "Can I become a leader?" Jae-min said that he will only stay in this squad if Ji-hwan is in charge. It is clear even to a newbie in his face that Ji-hwan is the last hope of this squad. Jae-min asked his interlocutor, "What will become of the players if the Black Lion is disbanded? Does he really want to leave his guys behind?" Ji-hwan said that he has a lot to learn, but he agrees and is willing to accept comments. Those present rejoiced. Our hero thought that everything was going as he had planned. The next thing to do is to follow the plan. Jae-min suggested that the new director change the terms of the agreement. Many of them were simply inhumane. Ji-hwan agreed the past agreement was terrible. Jae-min announced to everyone that they needed to work out a new contract. Our hero thought that the new terms needed to be customized. For our hero, now there's only him and Yoo Sung-soo, a guy who will become world famous in the future. He must turn our hero's life into a paradise. 8 days passed. Jae-min arranged with the two actors and explained the task to them. The guys said they understood everything and could do any task. Jae-min said that they should play it convincingly, so that guy wouldn't suspect anything. However, our hero had a bad feeling. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asked his son how necessary it is. Jae-min replied that it's extremely important. He really needs this guy's help. Jae-min saw the object and told the two to start acting. Just don't overplay it. Jae-min saw Yoo Sung-soo and his heart raced. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok smiled sadly and said that she respected her son's choice. Jae-min explained to his mother that he could become even stronger because of this guy. Jae-min gave these guys a push. They once again said that they could be trusted and they could handle it. Our hero expressed hope that it should work out, since these two are actors. The men approached the boy and asked where the boy was in a hurry. Would he like to keep them company? Yoo Sung-soo got scared and said he didn't have any money. What did he do to them? Jae-min, looking out from around the corner, thought that these two were playing their roles terribly. Did Yoo Sung-soo really believe them? The men stepped around the guy and said they didn't care much. He should give them money and then they would leave. They added that they were terribly hungry, the world was a cruel place, and people should help each other. Suddenly, a passerby appeared. It was our hero. He asked what was going on here. The men asked who he was. One of the men asked why this young man was interfering in the adults' conversation. Yoo Sung-soo asked for help. Jae-min thought that these two should quit their acting careers. Jae-min activated the Fist of Fury and filled it with his internal energy. The guy said that these two rascals were about to get what they deserved for hurting minors. The men wondered if they were looking at a player. It is better not to mess with such a person. Jae-min said the two men better scram and leave the boy alone. The men stated that they were on their way out. Jaemin asked the young man if he was all right. Yu Sung-soo looked at his savior and recognized him. Was it really the guy from the news? The young man bowed and thanked the player. He said that he didn't even know how to thank him. Jaemin replied that he didn't need to thank him. He didn't expect anything in return. Yu Sung-soo inquired, "Is this guy a player? He probably doesn't have any time at all." Jaemin said he's not busy right now. Our hero offered the young man a cup of coffee and added that he couldn't find any company for the day anyway. Yu Sung-soo agreed and said he would be honored. The young men introduced themselves. The young man said his name was Yu Sung-soo and added that he had reviewed the video of the player dozens of times. Jaemin inquired about the video in question. Yu Sung-soo clarified, "The video of the player destroying orcs, it was last week." Yu Sung-soo said he doesn't know anyone who can replicate that success on the first day of rebirth. Constellation Song Hyun-seok rejoices and says that this guy is a great judge of character. Jaemin thought, was he really that good? Yu Sung-soo said that he watched the video and dreamed of being just like his character. He always wanted to be in Jaemin's shoes. Yu Sung-soo said that he himself was reborn about a month ago, but he's F-rated. Yu Sung-soo said that he thought he would heal well after being reborn, but he has no skills available to him. He only sees some numbers above their heads, and that's it. Jaemin thought that this is the level of disposition. He certainly understands that the person he's talking to is happy to see him, but he shouldn't tell the first person he meets. After all, this guy's the only one with this ability. 700 units of disposition allow you to open a new skill. In his past life, our hero managed to get this information with difficulty. Yu Sung-soo said that these figures only appear on the reborn. It's a useless skill. Jaemin thought that his interlocutor was shy but spoke willingly. Our hero decided that he can find out everything he needs to know, although he doesn't really understand the purpose of some things yet. Jaemin says that it's Yu Sung-soo's unique skill. Yu Sung-soo expressed that it has something to do with skill, but all people have different numbers. Our hero thought that this guy is not as naive and stupid as previously imagined, because he realizes that it has to do with skills. Jaemin thought that this guy didn't have access to skills yet, only numbers for now. Maybe he should find out his own. Jaemin asked if Yu Sung-soo could tell his number. The interlocutor replied that it wasn't difficult. Yu Sung-soo said, 136, that's the highest score I've ever seen. Jaemin was frustrated. He had saved this guy, and the index was only 136. He should be above 700. Constellation Song Hyun-seok sobs and says he'll get over the lack of grandchildren, because the important thing is that his son is happy. Jaemin says to let his mother calm down. Our hero must discover the skill at any cost. Jaemin thought that in his past life, the skill was discovered by another person in conjunction with this guy. However, this time, that person would be him, Jaemin. With Yu Sung-soo's skill, that player had risen from B class to A class. Yu Sung-soo said that, because of this stupid skill, he wasn't accepted into any squad, and who needs an F-class player? So he hasn't even seen a single dungeon yet. Jaemin asked his interlocutor if he wanted to watch right now. Yu Sung-soo asked, "Watch what?" Jaemin replied that it was about the dungeon, however. If the person he was talking to didn't want to... Yu Sung-soo interrupted Jaemin half-heartedly and said that of course he did. There's no way he would miss such an opportunity. The young man inquired why the player was so kind to him. Jaemin replied that he just wanted to warm up before the raid. Maybe the skills would open up after going through the dungeon. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok recommends that his son teach this guy not to follow the first person he meets. Yu Sung-soo said that the interlocutor's number had changed to 140. Jaemin thought it was easier than he had previously thought. Jiming suggested to his interlocutor to pick up the equipment. After all, the dungeon is dangerous. Yu Sung-soo said that the number was already equal to 150. Jaemin suggested that the guest treat him to a steak. Yu Sung-soo said that he agreed. The number was already 160. Our hero thought that this way he could reach his goal. Yu Sung-soo, once in the dungeon, watched with delight as his companion destroys the monsters. It's even better than in the video. He cuts through monsters like paper. Yu Sung-soo tells our hero that this is the first time he's seen all the goblins being put down in one blow. He thinks Jaemin should get an S grade. Jaemin said that those monsters were weak. Yu Sung-soo said with admiration that Jaemin is truly awesome. After a while, the young man shouted that his companion even handled the boss easily. Jiming told the guy to stop wondering. After all, this wasn't why they came to the dungeon, and didn't he want to try it himself? Yu Sung-soo held the sword in his hands in indecision. Jaemin said that the goblin's vulnerable spot was its heart, and we should try to pierce it. Jaemin told his companion that he didn't give the sword just to hold it. Yu Sung-soo replied that he had no experience at all. Jamin wondered if the guy was really only going to continue to watch others and not do anything himself. Yu Sung-soo walked up to the goblin and stabbed his weapon right into the body. Jamin said he warned him to aim for the heart. Why did the guy stab his stomach? Now the blood is rushing in different directions. Yu Sung-soo wondered, why is it so hard to hit a vulnerable spot? Jamin replied that it was the easiest thing to do. Our hero offered the young man a glowing ball of light. Jamin said he wanted to make a deal with the young man. Yu Sung-soo asked what he had to give in return. Jamin said he wanted to get to know the guy better. Our hero asked what number he had over his head right now. Yu Sung-soo replied that it was already 284. What could that mean? As he said goodbye, Yu Sung-soo thanked the player and said he had a good time. Jamin said that they would meet again and advised him not to run into any more bandits. Jamin was a little disappointed. He had done so much and only got 284. When would he reach 700? Another way must be found. Jamin asked his mom for an invisibility skill for a while. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok smiled and said that he would do it with pleasure. Jamin thought in order to increase his disposition index, he should get to know Yu Sung-soo better. Jamin followed the guy. He was surprised to hear that they were heading to the hospital. Did Yu Sung-soo really hurt himself in the dungeon? Yu Sung-soo opened the door to the ward. Jamin thought to run in before the door closed. Jamin, following the guy, noted that there was very little space in this room. Yu Sung-soo told his mom that he had come. It was dark ahead, and our hero thought he could see nothing. Jamin saw a woman lying on a bed under an oxygen mask. Our hero thought it must be his mom. The constellation Song Hyun-seok felt sorry for the boy and said that he had a difficult fate. Jamin noted that the woman's skin had turned blue and her hair had turned gray. It was like an incurable disease caused by the destructive effects of mana. All the symptoms pointed to magic addiction. Jamin overheard the conversation. Yu Sung-soo apologized for coming a little late today. He said that he had met the player he had been telling her about all these days, and added that they had been in the dungeon together. Yu Sung-soo said, "How does it feel to be in that player's shoes? If I was as strong as that, I would have made a lot of money and paid for her treatment." Yu Sung-soo tells his mother that he's trying his best. He wants to succeed and hear her say that she is proud of him. Yu Sung-soo leaned over his mother and cried. He wanted her to wake up. Jamin noted that he had already seen this facial expression before the rebirth. Now he understood what it was about. Everyone was calling this guy a statue. Jamin, walking back, thought that in his previous life, he would only meet this guy the following year. And he remembered that face well. Jamin wondered how Yu Sung-soo could laugh in front of him. Did the guy really think he was incapable of understanding his grief? The grief of losing a parent is a feeling that feels like the world is falling apart. Jamin thought that all was not lost because Yu Sung-soo's mom was still alive. The hero decided that he would save her. The constellation Song Hyun-seok knows what to do. It said it had thought of something and disappeared. Jamin thought, maybe her mom knows where to get a cure for magic addiction? Song Hyun-seok's constellation appeared and said he would call someone who could help. Constellation Song Hyun-seok opened the chat room and added a guest. The system reported that the hero could begin communicating with the constellation. All names are encrypted. The sacred constellation said hello. It said it must be Song Hyun-seok's son, Jamin. It was nice for him to meet her. Jamin said hello and confirmed that he was her son. The sacred constellation reported that he had already been told everything. The young man needs a cure for his magic addiction. The sacred constellation said that Jamin could visit his workshop. He can use the healing waters that can cure any illness. He will find the recipe in the workshop. Jamin rejoiced that these waters could save any ailment. So there is a cure, including for magic addiction. Our hero thought that now they could save Yu Sung-soo's mom. The system reported that an anonymous guest endorsed the player with the item Ticket to the Sacred Limit. The chat indicated that the path to the workplace would open when the player tore his entry ticket in half. Jamin thought there was no need to waste time and tore the ticket in two. A dimensional portal appeared in front of our hero. The system asked the question, does the player want to enter the sacred limit? Jamin confirmed this aspiration. In the same instant, our hero was pulled inside. In the next instant, Jamin found himself in an unfamiliar place. There were books flying around him. The sacred constellation informed the young man to think of books as monsters. Among them, there are only 5 books with pages that have a recipe for purifying water. One must check every page of all the books. You can tear and even burn them, as many as it takes to guess. Jamin thought that the pages fall out like in RPG games. That's easy to say, but how do you find those same 5 books among the rest? The sacred constellation said the guy better hurry up. This is a holy place. Since he was under the laws of his world, he could stay here no longer than 15 minutes. Our hero remembered that he could tear up everything until he found it. So we're good to go. The system reported that Pandora's bag is open. The most effective weapon against the opponent will be summoned. Our hero decided to trust the instinct of Pandora's bag. A flamethrower appeared in Jaemin's hands. The Sacred Constellation was surprised. Sacred Constellation wondered if Jaemin was serious about burning all the books. The guy replied that the most important thing was to find them. Our hero pulled the trigger and the entire library area was covered in flames. Jaemin never thought it would be so easy. He feels like it takes a minute, not 15 minutes. After a while, the system reported that all 5 pages had been received. Jaemin informed the Sacred Constellation that he was done. Our hero said that he now expects to be rewarded. The Sacred Constellation did not expect this player to have such an intimidating side. The Sacred Constellation said that it was issuing the young man an item in his unified form. It was a unified water purification scroll. Jaemin thought, what kind of recipe does this scroll contain? Our hero unwrapped the gift. The guy familiarized himself with the instructions and understood what he should do next. Ice flowers, desert sapling root, vines from stone walls. All of them are readily available, so there won't be a problem. The problem is the final ingredient, the soul core. Jaemin thought the ingredients would be too simple, but now he sees a trap. So he needs an item that hasn't been found yet. Jaemin thought that the soul core wouldn't be found until 3 years later. How fortunate that he had memorized how to obtain it before he went back in time. Reverse Path Dungeon is the only way to obtain the soul core. Constellation Sung Hyun Seok asked his son what this Reverse Path Dungeon was. Jaemin said it's hard to explain right now. They'll talk about it after they get out of here. Constellation Song Hyun Seok is upset. He doesn't understand what's so complicated about the explanation. Our hero found himself in the hall of an exhibition of relics. He wondered why they were here. Constellation Song Hyun Seok asked if there was a connection between this place and the Reverse Path Dungeon. Jaemin nodded and said that it was the only way for him to get into that dungeon. Jaemin saw the Sword of Salvation among the exhibits. It was one of the 2 swords that the Sun Hyun Seok constellation used during the Day of the Fall. Unfortunately, the second sword was lost during the war. Constellation Song Hyun Seok is happy to see this and asks if this is the weapon she wielded. Jaemin replies that it is exactly the same relic. Jaemin reminded his mom as he said that the soul core could only be obtained in the Reverse Path Dungeon. The guy added that there are 2 things you need to get into that dungeon: affinity with your constellation and the relic of that constellation. Jaemin drew his mom's attention to the fact that this sword was reacting to her. Our hero stated that he is a representative of his mom, and this is her relic. So there is no need to explain about intimacy. Jaemin reached forward and decided to infuse some mana into this relic. It was as if the sword had come to life. The system reported that Representative Jaemin was trying to resonate with the Battlefield Messiah constellation relic for the first time. Due to the high proximity, the resonance was successful. As the flow of past and present happenings are temporarily united, the dungeon of the reversed path opens up. Jaemin said that they would now be able to obtain the soul core. The system reported that the player was traveling to the most significant day of his constellation. The woman found herself in a blazing city. Jaemin cried out in surprise and wondered what happened to his voice. Our hero looked at his hands and wondered perhaps he had become his mom. The system reported that from now on, the player would be protected by a quest in the body of the constellation he had made a contract with. Zhoming wondered, was there really some sort of constellation body capture in the Reverse Path Dungeon? Jaemin experienced a strange feeling. But after all, he was now in his mom's body. It was kind of embarrassing. In front of our hero was a pack of armed monsters. The protagonist thought that it was necessary to clear this territory first. Jaemin thought that this was the most significant day for his mom. There was no one who didn't know about it better than him, because this was the day his parents left this world. Jae-Ming, that is, his mom, put her swords forward and prepared to sweep the area, destroying the bloodthirsty monsters. Falling Day 1. A catastrophe has fallen upon the hero's world. Using the body of the constellation, you must prevent the end of the world and recreate the most significant moment of the constellation. Jae-Ming was surprised at the speed and strength he had come to possess. He had a large amount of mana and a natural flow of skills. His mom was called the Goddess of War for a reason, the boy thought. Jaemin didn't know his mom was so strong. The first quest seemed too easy. All the monsters had been destroyed. To test his mom's characteristics and capabilities, our hero discovered her parameters. Jae-Ming looked at the information and even opened his mouth in astonishment. Weren't such stats above the level of ordinary mortals? Suddenly, a huge monster appeared and screamed that it wanted to destroy all humans. Jaemin thrust his swords forward and told this monster not to show off. It's just a little brat. Otherwise, we'll have to gut this monster in a special way. The attack was lightning fast and intense. The monster was deactivated and destroyed. A man appeared not far away and said that he had just finished off one monster. The man came closer. Jaemin was terribly surprised and was even speechless for a moment. The man asked, what would he do if she destroyed all the monsters herself? Maybe she would leave some for him as well. Jaemin saw his father in front of him. Seeing his father's surprised face, Jaemin asked, was he really shocked that he had destroyed that monster? Our hero has even forgotten that he is now in his mom's body. The girl smiled and said she was joking. Was he really surprised? He looked tense, so she decided to make a little joke to make him laugh. Father said she was joking in a situation like this? Jaemin would definitely laugh at her. The young men were surrounded by monsters. They decided to deal with these creatures first. Our hero thought that now he must take care of these creatures. Watching his father's work, Jaemin came to the conclusion that this player was really great. Jaemin couldn't believe his eyes. Was his dad really that strong? Now our hero understood why he was called Demon King. The system reported that the Ring of the Great Sage reacts with its partner's faith, and the jewel begins to glow. Sword of Salvation reacts with its partner's faith, and the weapon begins to glow. After a short time, the system reported that over 1,000 monsters had been destroyed. Fall Day 1 had been successfully completed. Now the young people could take a rest in peace. The system reported that a top-class award would be given due to the perfect completion of the mission. Igor's necklace has been added to the honors list. The man said that the darling did a great job. The girl thanked her spouse. The interlocutor asked what prize she had won. Jaemin realized that his dad couldn't see any of this. He obtained the Igor's necklace, which is a top-grade item from the Reversal Path dungeon. The system signaled the imminent start of the second quest. Jaemin had heard that this dungeon was super difficult, yet they only spent 2 or 3 hours on it. Father said that this monster's energy is getting more and more powerful. They both need to be careful. The players were tasked with fighting the Garmadon Destroyer. 13 years ago, Jaemin's parents sacrificed their lives to defeat this monster. Our hero decided that today would be different. Jiming realized things would be different because he was here now, because he knows the reason why his ancestors had no choice but to perish. The system reported, Drop Day 2. The heroes entered a suspiciously empty area. Soon they will have to face the events taking place in this place. A colossal amount of mana was coming from that place. Father said that they were performing Guardian's Defense and high-grade bombardment at the same time. Father didn't know who it was, but he assumed he had an unrealistic amount of mana. Could it be him? The young men saw a man coming out of the portal. The man says he gets compliments from the Demon King himself. He can't find the words. The young man replied, it was indeed him. The young men praised Gengyun and said it was a great job. Gengyun said that something had gotten into Sung Hyun Seok. After all, she always called him a mustachioed jerk before. Jaemin in his mother's body said that this was not the time for jokes. The young men inquired about the situation. Genhyun replied that after the monsters appeared, the nearby area had turned into a dungeon. Among all the players who were sent among the first, he was the only survivor, which wasn't good. Our hero's father asked if there were any other survivors. The interlocutor replied that they had evacuated to the Guardian Defense and were now preparing for the second round. The hero's father wondered, is there really still strength for the second round? Genhyun replied that they were just busy preparing. He asked the young people if they would join too. The spouses agreed to join. Genhyun said it was a good choice. If there was S-class couple status, people would also get strength. Suddenly, the irreparable happened. Gengyun was stabbed through and through. Jaemin did so while stabbing his sword into the player's back. He wondered why Song Hyun Seok had done that. What did that even mean? Jaemin in his mother's body asked, does the opponent really think he is still able to maintain this performance? Does he really not know the reason for this attack against himself? Jaemin pulled out a sword from Genhyun's body that had his heart flaunted on it. His heart was bleeding and his sword was glowing and emitting lightning at this moment. Song Hyun Seok told her husband that with such a vile heart, he was trying to summon destruction with the people trapped in the Guardian's Defense as the victim. He was unworthy. Song Hyun Seok said that because of that rascal, the people inside those walls must have already melted down and died, going mad with horrible pain, not realizing what was going on around them. Dark energy began to emerge from Gengyun's wound. Song Hyun Seok said that his low, dirty plan had failed. Jaemin thought that he had avenged his parents, but that wouldn't change the reality. Genhyun said he was a follower of the Great Destroyer, and how dare she interfere with great deeds? Genhyun added that if he had only started the descending ritual, everything would have been over. However, that rascal ruined everything. Song Hyun-seok wondered, how does this rascal call such actions a great deed? Is that really his justification? Our hero's father said that he understood the situation relatively well and would take care of the rest. The hero's father told his wife that she becomes fragile in these situations, and he knows she forces herself. Song Hyun-seok replied that she would do that. Gen-yun resentfully said that if it wasn't for those two, he would have already obtained great power. He planned to gain immortality with someone equally great. The system reported that the skill Hurricane Sword was activated. Song Hyun-seok told the traitor that she thought the reason would be greater. Gen-hyun wondered, did they really think that such a weak attack would work on him? Such a weak attack power wouldn't even be able to overtake the speed of his regenerative ability by half. The enraged Song Hyun-seok struck Gen-hyun many times with her sword. Does he really mean to say that killing innocent people in the name of his exploits is okay? Jaemin stabbed and thought, does this scoundrel even know how much people, his parents, and himself suffered because of him? Jaemin used his mother's help to express all the hatred he had for this man. Jaemin said that he was rather disgusted by the villain than the destruction in general. The system reported that the hero had fulfilled the conditions of the hidden mission. Since the mission was completed perfectly, a top-class reward would be given out. The heroic class title has been added to the list of honors. Our hero's father told his wife that it was a tough decision, but she handled it perfectly. He didn't know that Gen-hyun was part of the great betrayal. The young people heard a loud, strange sound. What could it be? Our hero's parents saw monsters coming out of the ground. Because of Gen-hyun's death, the guard defense skill was gone. The case wasn't over yet. The hero's father said they had to save the people first. It was necessary to hurry. Then, they decided to examine the place again. The players saw a portal in front of them. The man said that he would evacuate the people and Song Hyun-seok would take care of the monsters. Song Hyun-seok activated both swords and prepared to repel the attack. However, our hero suddenly felt dizzy. Song Hyun-seok, losing her balance, fell to the ground. Her eyes closed. Jaemin was surprised to find that he was back in his body, but where was he? There were glowing stars flying around our hero. What was this place? Jaemin didn't realize what had just happened to him. After all, he was definitely going to save people with his dad. Jaemin couldn't understand why he was back in his body again. Is this place really a reverse path dungeon? Why are his feet floating in the air? The protagonist noticed the glowing dust concentrating around him. Jaemin saw a huge old man with burning hair in front of him. The guy experienced a feeling pressing on his breath. The old man and our hero looked at each other. Perhaps it's the appearance of a constellation. The old man said, "At last we meet." The system reported that the constellation god of the battlefield was watching the player closely. Jaemin said, "If the god of the battlefield is in front of me, then it is my mom's constellation after all." The old man wondered why he had lost touch with his representative, and it turns out the culprit was in front of him. The fiery old man expressed his confidence that Song Hyun-seok's son was in front of him. The old man asked what the guy plans to do, what he crossed the borders into this world for. He knows he's Sun Hyun-seok's son, but this isn't his world. It's not a place where he can just wander around. Until he gives a clear explanation, he'll pay for what he did. Even if he's Sun Hyun-seok's son, Jaemin said that he had come to this place to stop the demise of his representative, whom he cherishes. Soon the destruction will destroy his representative's world. The boy asks to be released. The old man wondered, did Jaemin really come to this world just for this? He knows that even after defeating destruction, his world won't change. In that case, why would he do that? Is it because he wants to see the other end of this? The old constellation man reminded us that you can't fool the bloodline. The battlefield god constellation used its power. The old man said that he was just as interested in seeing the other end of the situation as the young man. He would give it to him as a gift. Jaemin saw a glowing orb in front of him. Battle Eye was moved into the player's body. The old constellation man expressed his hope that the guy would accept it. Jaemin wondered, what was a Battle Eye? He cried out loudly in surprise. The glowing ball appeared in our hero's head and began to emit light as well. Jaemin squinted his eyes in surprise. The old constellation man said that it was the eye of the battlefield. A young man must endure even if it hurts unbearably. It's an ability he gained after years of training. It was also the reason for his countless victories. In the information board, our hero received information about what the eye of the battlefield is. Now the player can see the true nature of his opponent. He can turn on the ability whenever he wants. Jaemin asked the constellation what was the reasoning behind him giving it to him. The old man replied that thanks to him, the beloved representative survived. It's a gift, like payback. The old man wondered if the world the lad lives in is not the same as his favorite representatives. He just wants the young man to continue his work. That's why he's giving this gift, but there's something the lad has to promise in return. Jamin shouldn't make her death meaningless. Our hero promised, after all, because it was his mom. After the conversation with the old Constellation Man was over, the protagonist once again found himself in front of the portal leading to his city. Saying goodbye, the old man said that he had to thank the guy for this meeting. Our hero sincerely wished the old man to look after his constellation, even after he himself had returned to his homeworld. Song Hyun-seok opened her eyes and saw her husband sitting above her, calling out to her fearfully. Song Hyun-seok pulled herself up and grabbed her head and asked where they were. The companion replied that they were in the shelter right now. Apart from them, there were many other young people in this room who were fleeing from the monsters. A guy came up to the players and asked if the girl was okay. Our hero's father said that these men fought at his side while Song Hyun-seok was unconscious. He tried to stop them, but they insisted. The people said that they should fight side by side. Now that they know what kind of person Genhyun is, they realize that because of these players, they were able to survive. Jae-min, while in his mother's body, wondered, had he really saved people? Had the past changed? The young men heard a child call out to them. Song Hyun-seok was surprised, for she recognized that voice. The child waved at them and said these people were his mom and dad. Jae-min, while in his mother's body, looked at his little self. Was this really him as a child? Young Jae-min tells his parents that he knows they can do it. When he grows up, he will become a strong player like his mom and dad. Jae-min thought, was he really like this 10 years ago? The father took the child in his arms and said he was very happy to hear this from his son. The man looked at his wife and asked if she was feeling well and why she looked like that. The father told his son to give his mom a hug. Song Hyun-seok replied that she was fine. A man came up and said that these parents' love for their child is really huge. Why doesn't Song Hyun-seok just kiss him? It was the president of the association. He said that while the parents were away, their child acted like an adult, but now his behavior had changed 180 degrees. The president asked Song Hyun-seok why she was acting so strange, since she almost made him confused. There was an unimaginable sound. The audience clutched their ears, feeling as if their heads were about to explode. Jamin, cradling the baby to his chest, thought, what is that sound? The system reported, the day of the fall is the last day. Destruction has almost descended. It is necessary to save one's world from the destruction monster. The voice of the roaring beast seemed familiar to our hero. Jae-min in his mother's body activated both swords. The president asked what Sun Hyun-seok was going to do. The woman replied that they were fine, so we need to make sure the injured get treatment. Isn't that a job for the association? Song Hyun-seok asked that Lee Dae-ho keep an eye on their child Jae-min. The people present raised their hands and said that they too would go to fight this monster. Jae-min assessed the situation and thought that the situation was much different from last time. That time, there was no one who wanted to go to the slaughter together because of Genhyun's trap. Jae-min thought that there were very few survivors from back then. Things had changed considerably. Jae-min in his mother's body thought that he would chop the Garmadon of destruction into pieces today. Song Hyun-seok turned to the attendees and said that she appreciates it, but none of them will go. She thinks that the priority should be to treat the injured. Song Hyun-seok added that help is good, but they need people to protect the place. Song Hyun-seok felt someone take her hand. The woman looked back and saw her son, who told his mom not to leave. Jae-min remembered that this was exactly how he acted back then with his mother. Our hero knelt down in front of the child. He felt a little strange talking to himself. He decided to tell the same words that his mother had told him earlier. The woman said that when she returned, she would make him toast just the way he liked it. Song Hyun-seok promised to buy her son the gaming gadget he's been wanting for so long. Song Hyun-seok turned to her husband and told him not to forget the promise she had just made to her son. Young Jae-min smiled and said that his mom was the best. The boy was left standing next to Lee Tae-ho. His parents had gone to battle that bloodthirsty monster. Young Jae-min looked after the departing parents. Jae-min Current, in his mother's body, was thinking about how he was about to destroy this rogue monster. A huge breach formed above the city, from which lightning flashed continuously. Our hero's father asked his wife if she had any plan. Song Hyun-seok replied that there was no plan, but the monster must be weak since the ritual wasn't completed all the way through. Song Hyun-seok asked for her husband to do something for her. Song Hyun-seok asked as he aimed one of his ranged attacks at those gates, using his strongest skill. The man said if Song Hyun-seok wants it, then that's what will happen. Using his magic ability, he began to activate the energy to carry out the attack. The system reported that partner Hwang Hyun-min had activated a light shooting beam. The energy arrows flew straight into the breach site and produced a corresponding effect there. Song Hyun-seok stated that it was very professional. A huge blob of fire began to fall from the impact zone down to the ground. Song Hyun-seok said that it was her turn now and activated the S-Class Leap skill. Approaching the area of the intended battle, Song Hyun-seok activated the barrier. By activating the barrier, the shocking effects of the fire cloud were avoided. Jae-min in his mother's body stood in front of the monster and shouted that he had been waiting for this encounter for a long time. The monster roared, "How dare an inferior creature of the earth fight him? This looks ridiculous." The god of war constellation tried to calm Song Hyun-seok down. The constellation god of war advised against giving anger control. Song Hyun-seok told the constellation that she had never been calmer than she was right now. She stopped the ritual by destroying Oh Gengyun. The battle had begun. The monster shouted that he would make that person feel despair. Constellation Song Hyun-seok replied that it wouldn't happen. Song Hyun-seok said that what was in front of her was just destruction called for by a failed ritual. Song Hyun-seok jumped over the burning monster while swinging her swords. The woman fended off the fire monster's attack and said it wouldn't work. The constellation god of war says it's magnificent and is amazed by Song Hyun-seok's actions. The power of destruction has been reduced because of the failed ritual. The monster screamed, "How could the simplest creature have so much strength? It needs more blood." Song Hyun-seok asked, "Did that monster think that she didn't know that he was going to run away as soon as the ritual failed?" The monster screamed again that the man in front of him was just a mortal bug. Song Hyun-seok activated the sword hurricane option. The monster cried out loudly in pain. He couldn't fend off all the attacks that came at him. The blood from his wounded arm was spurting in all directions. The hurricane of swords only increased its power, the monster suffering more and more damage. Song Hyun-seok said to let that monster show its true colors. Suddenly, a fire tornado appeared, and the monster was inside this hurricane. When the intensity of the fire subsided, Song Hyun-seok saw the opponent's true appearance. In front of Song Hyun-seok, a child was lying in the resulting dent in the pavement and crying. The child said, "Perhaps she is not attacking a young child? After all, she has a young child herself." Jaemin dreamed every day of the death of the one who destroyed his parents. The boy dreamed of the moment when he could rip out that rascal's heart with his bare hands. Song Hyun-seok activated the Class B reinforcement skill. Jaemin, while in his mother's body, struck the monster in the form of a child with great force. Song Hyun-seok ripped the black heart out of the child's chest. Song Hyun-seok asked, "Was that really all he could come up with?" Song Hyun-seok crushed his heart with force, and black blood spurted out of it in different directions. The child was gone, and only a dent was left in that spot. Jaemin said that he was younger than that child at that time. The system reported that the player had successfully completed the Day 2 Fallout Day. The dungeon of the reverse path has been cleared. The final reward will be given after returning to reality. The body capture will be canceled after some time. The constellation god of the battlefield asks about sensation, and is there a sense of relief? Song Hyun-seok replied that she certainly felt much better. Hyunmin asked Song Hyun-seok what happened. Song Hyun-seok replied that they had just saved the world. Hyunmin said he felt like she did it alone. Song Hyun-seok replied that it would have been dangerous without his light-shooting sword skill. The young men who came outside from hiding asked, "How are the players feeling? Are they okay?" Jaemin watched the people celebrating the victory and thought that it would be great if this all happened in the real world. The battlefield god constellation in this place could sense the past, present, even the future. The constellation said it was willing to bet its eye that it could distinguish reality and could also assure the interlocutor that the place was also real. Jaemin realized what this old man meant. This place was also real to these people. The system reported that the player would return to the real world in 10 seconds, and the countdown began. The god of the battlefield constellation said goodbye to the player. Constellation god of the battlefield expresses his sincere gratitude for saving his valuable representative. Jaemin looked at his father once more. Our hero in his mother's body rushed to his father's neck and embraced him. Jaemin said that his father was the person he respected more than anything else in the world. Hyunmin was surprised to hear such words. Tears flowed from Song Hyun-seok's eyes, and he said that he loved his father. At that moment, Song Hyun-seok disappeared. There was a return to reality. Song Hyun-seok's constellation was on the floor in the same room where the artifact, his mother's sword, was kept. The system reported that, as a result of increasing proximity to a constellation, a large number of god coins would be transferred to its constellation. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asks, "Did the sun do well on his own?" Constellation Song Hyun-seok complains about the very long wait time. The system has announced that rewards for completing the Reverse Path dungeon quests will be given out now. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is surprised and asks, "What is going on here after all?" There were really a lot of awards. Jaemin decided to line up these awards first. Igor's necklace, Eye of the Battlefield, heroic class title, and most importantly, the spiritual core. The reason why our hero decided to go to the Reversal Path dungeon was because of the spiritual core. Should he claim the remaining rewards? The boy thought that in that case he could inherit some of his mom's skills. That is his constellation. After studying the information, Jaemin thought that he would only be able to master one of the skills. Our hero assumed that the one he used in the dungeon would be the best choice. The player chose the skill Hero's Awakening. After studying the information provided on the information board, Jaemin decided that it would be very cool. There was also an artifact that doubles all stats for 3 minutes. That's crazy. Constellation Sung Hyun Seok says it's too good a skill for a son who lacks a lot, but can't hide her joy for him. The system reported that the player was equipped with the items Igor's Necklace and Heroic Class Title. Jaemin was satisfied. He had only tried on the Heroic Class Title, and he didn't want to part with it anymore. There are still 2 awards left, one of which was given to him by the god of the battlefield. This is the eye of the battlefield. Our hero wondered, what does it mean to see the nature of an opponent? There was also another question. It was last but not least. This is the spiritual core. As embarrassing as it was for him, if he had broken it while he was holding it, events would have unfolded differently. It was said that energy would start flowing outwards and his mana capacity would triple. Jaemin thought that he couldn't use the spiritual core for himself because he needs to save Yu Seong-soo's mom. The spiritual core was placed in Igor's necklace. Constellation Song Hyun Seok respects his son's choice. Jaemin mentally told his new friend that he was on his way to save his mother. Jaemin met with these actors who were working hard to get the necessary items. The guy said he didn't expect these 2 to be able to get everything. They are great. Constellation Song Hyun Seok rejoices and says that these young men did well. The guy said they were just strangers, and if Jaemin wanted to thank them, he could buy drinks someday. Jaemin replied that these guys obtained the items before the deadline. After examining the delivered items, our hero realized that now all that was left was to create the necessary medicines. Ice flowers, desert sapling roots, vines from the stone walls, and a spiritual core were delivered. Jaemin thought, if Yu Seong-soo's mom feels better, this guy will be happier. While passing by, our hero saw Yu Seong-soo standing at the counter of the store. Jaemin looked into this store. Yu Seong-soo saw him and asked him what he was doing here. Does he really live nearby? Yu Seong-soo says that he's really bored here and he's happy to see Jaemin here. Jaemin placed a jar of medicine in front of Yu Seong-soo. The boy wondered what it was. Jaemin warned that it should be their shared secret. It would be bad if someone else found out about it. Jaemin said that it was a medicine that could cure his mother's ailment. Yu Seong-soo asked fearfully how the interlocutor knew about his mom's illness. Jaemin replied that it wasn't that important. Jaemin added that this medicine could cure mana addiction. This is a great rarity. You don't have to worry about side effects. You just have to put your trust in it. Yu Seong-soo said that he trusts his friend. He will never forget the kindness the guy showed him. Yu Seong-soo said that it's his mom, so he's not sure if he can use unknown medicines that are obscurely obtained from where. Jaemin said that he had put a lot of effort into obtaining this medicine. Constellation Song. Hyun Seok slapped his chest. It warned its son to run to the hospital with this medicine. Yu Seong-soo answered the phone call he received from the hospital. The expression on the young man's face changed. He had gotten some bad news about his mom. The hospital told the young man that they had done all they could. The doctor added that they were trying hard to get their mana levels down. Yu Seong-soo's mom was lying with her eyes open and no longer reacted to anything. Since she had already reached the last stage, there was nothing medicine could do. The doctor suggested that in this case it would be best to perform a dignified sedation procedure to reduce her pain. Yu Seong-soo tearfully asked the doctor to save his mother. The doctor answered nothing and left the room, on the way saying he was sorry but had to go. Jaemin said that they still have a chance. Yu Seong-soo wondered how Jaemin had gotten here. Jaemin held out the medicine vial again and said that they didn't have much time. They needed to hurry up. Our hero said that when his parents were in danger, he was young and powerless, so he couldn't do anything about it. But Yu Seong-soo has an opportunity now, so you can't reject it. It was really hard to get all those ingredients. Jaemin exclaimed, "Does the guy really think he's some kind of rascal who would hurt his mother?" Our hero opened the vial and said, "If Yu Seong-soo doesn't believe it, then he'll drink it himself." Yu Seong-soo took his interlocutor's hand and said that he agrees. He wants the man to give the medicine to his mom. Constellation Song Hyun Seok was nervously shuffling from foot to foot. Yu Seong-soo crouched down to his mother and said that this was their only chance. This is the mana addiction medicine that Jaemin brought. Yu Seong-soo poured the contents of the vial into Mom's mouth and told her to wake up. The young man lowered his head over his mother and cried. He kept repeating for her to wake up. The woman opened her eyes and looked at her son in surprise. Yu Seong-soo saw his mother waking up and grabbed her hand joyfully. Constellation Song Hyun Seok sulkily asked his son why he didn't stay. Jaemin replied that it was certainly a very touching moment, but it would have been rude of him to stay there. Jaemin said that he was jealous of Yu Seong-soo. 2 days passed. Constellation Song Hyun Seok remarked in surprise that such a kid was buying him food in such a rich place. Jaemin replied that he was well aware of the kid's situation and thought he was working hard. The young men met again on the road. Yu Seong-soo asked if Jaemin was surprised that he suddenly wanted to give him a treat. Jae-min replied that he didn't expect such a thing. Yu Seong-soo looked at his interlocutor and said that it was too bright and squinted his eyes. Jae-min asked what was wrong. Yu Seong-soo said that the system window suddenly began to glow brightly. Jae-min asked if Yu Seong-soo could read what it said. The guy replied that it said, "The hidden condition was satisfied and the skill block was removed." Our hero thought, has the attractiveness characteristic finally reached 700? Jae-min asked Yu Seong-soo what number he could see above his head right now. Yu Seong-soo showed 5 and 2 on his fingers. Jae-min thought it was probably 700. Yu Seong-soo said 7,948 to be exact. Ji-ming opened his mouth in astonishment. Was this even possible? Yu Seong-soo said that the information board indicated that the development skillet had opened. Jae-ming suggested that he use this skillet on him. Jae-ming reassured his interlocutor. Everything will be fine. After all, he knows how to use the skill, right? You just have to think of him and look him in the eye. Yu Seong-soo said he would try it, and stretched his arm forward in front of his companion and tried to activate the development skill. The system reported that the S-class development skill was activated. This player was the first to be exposed to the development skill. Jae-min thought that his body was overflowing with power. This feeling is great. This was what he felt when he was in his mom's body. Constellation Song Hyun-seok was truly surprised. Our hero thought that other players don't have stats like level or experience points. With this skill, he will be able to analyze his growth. If he knows the number of experience points he gets, he will be able to become stronger than anyone else. He felt like checking the characteristics window. They could now be seen on the status window. Our hero thought that by increasing levels, he would be able to increase strength without limit. Jae-min, happy with his current condition, said it was all thanks to Yu Seong-soo. The interlocutor wondered if Jae-min was okay. In fact, Yu Seong-soo's skill development can strengthen other players. This skill has the wonderful skill of removing restrictions from the player. Yu Seong-soo wondered, was his skill really that good? Ji-ming said that this skill was more valuable than any other. It couldn't be categorized into any class. Ji-ming invited his interlocutor back to the Black Lion Guild. Our hero added that he would make sure to treat the interlocutor in the best way possible. He has a high influence in the guild, and it is not necessary to give an answer right away. Yu Seong-soo says he's very happy that Jae-min is inviting him to join the guild. Of course he will join. Jae-min noticed that his interlocutor didn't look happy. Yu Seong-soo replied that in that case, his mom would be worried. He's not sure if she will let him work as a player. Jae-min said that Yu Seong-soo shouldn't rush his answer. He can take some time to think about it. Yu Seong-soo said he would think about it and give an answer as soon as he made a decision. Jae-min thought that with his level of attractiveness, Yu Seong-soo would hardly be able to refuse him. After the young people broke up, our hero asked Constellation Sung Hyun-seok how she thought the conversation with Yu Seong-soo's mother would go. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok is sending gifts to his son. A dungeon key has appeared on the gift list. This key card can summon an imaginary dimension. Jae-min said that he just needed a couple monsters to destroy to test his new abilities. Jae-min looked at the gift and said that it looked like an expensive item. Is it definitely okay for the Constellation to give it to him? Constellation Sun Hyun-seok brags and says that he got a lot of god coins after clearing out the time travel dungeon. Jae-min thought that there was no one around right now and could use it right here. Our hero pulled the key card forward in front of him, and it flashed with bright fire. A portal appeared in front of our hero. Jae-min moved forward and said that he was determined. Once inside, Jae-min immediately noticed a strange noise. Song Hyun-seok's constellation cried out in fear. Our hero saw in front of him a huge number of giant cockroaches, which he hated terribly. Constellation Song Hyun-seok continued to scream loudly and closed his eyes in fear. Jae-min said for his mom to stop now. Jae-min also screamed in fear as a huge cockroach began to approach him. Our hero screamed how dare this vile pest approach him, and attacked it using his internal energy. The cockroach was destroyed, and the protagonist's hand was covered with slime. Constellation Song Hyun-seok was sickened by the sight of her son's hand. Jae-min said that he didn't like it either. Jae-min asked his mom, "Is it really necessary to destroy them all?" Constellation Sung Hyun-seok told her son to hurry up. The system reported that Pandora's bag was opening. It was interesting to see what weapon would be chosen this time. In the hands of our hero was a stick with a glowing eye on the end. Jae-min waved his stick and activated the fire that came from that eye. The protagonist now understood how to deal with huge cockroaches with this Pandora's box weapon. For each cockroach destroyed, the system awarded 200 experience points. The system reported that the player's level had increased. All stats had been raised by 10. Jae-min thought that this was crazy. After checking the player's information, our hero thought, did the normal hunting of a few monsters really give him this much? Does this mean that pumping is now unlimited? Jae-min thought that now he would go up in strength just by destroying a few monsters. That said, there will be no limit. He believes he can do it for as long as he wants. Doesn't this look like the place where he found Pandora's bag? I think he's gonna get lost here. Constellation Sung Hyun Seok sent a gift to his son. A mini-map was added to the gift list. Jae-min said that his mom was the best. Unfolding the map, the protagonist studied the information. The white dot was him, the red dot was the enemy, the black dot was the boss, and the green dot was the ally. Our hero was surprised. Does he really have an ally? He thought he was alone in this dungeon. Jae-min saw some knight running away from the insects approaching him. He shouted to be rescued. The knight ran up to Jae-min and said that it was necessary to retreat. The monsters here were very strong. Our hero was surprised. Did this guy really run away all the time? Jae-min said that no one would expect him to retreat and he would fight the enemies. Using the fire stick from Pandora's box, Jae-min began to incinerate the oncoming insects. The knight asked our hero how he was able to use such powerful magic. The knight assumed that this fellow had been sent by his country to help. The boy pointed to his sword and said that it was the sword of God, and he is a warrior recognized by the oracle himself. The mage's job is to help the warriors. Jae-min should be grateful for that. Jae-min looked at the sword and thought that this was the spiritual core. What is it doing in a useless sword? The knight said he entered here for the honor of his country. This is a spiritual sword called obsidian, and there are only 6 of them. Jae-min slapped that knight on the back of his head and said that he was very noisy. The knight fell to the ground and was temporarily deactivated. Our hero was sure that this sword contained a spiritual core, a treasure that increased mana capacity by 3 times. He had used the spirit core to prepare medicine before, but this time he uses it for himself. However, the protagonist could not take this sword. The system reported that this player is an unallowed user. No matter how many times Jae-min tried to take this sword, the system kept repeating the same thing. The spiritual core is right in front of him, but he can't take it. Our hero brought the knight to his senses. This guy stood up and looked around in surprise. The knight asked, why was he knocked out so abruptly? This had never happened before. He needs to destroy the giant centipede king faster. Jae-min thought, even if this knight isn't real, he still looks really pathetic. A new wave of insect monster attacks on humans has begun. The knight thrust his sword forward and said that he would now show how fearsome a warrior could be in anger. Jae-min patted the knight on his shoulder and told him to just do nothing. By doing so, he would help a lot more. The knight agreed, but wondered why he was being spoken to in such a tone. After all, he is a warrior. Jae-min, using his Pandora's box weapon, destroyed the insects again, and told the knight that he couldn't even destroy B-class monsters. What kind of hero is he? The knight told this guy not to get cocky about defeating some weak monsters. His mission is to destroy the giant centipede king. It's a scary monster that can devour a spirit sword. Jae-min wondered, can a giant royal centipede really eat this lightsaber? Our hero thought, if he could provoke a fight between this knight and centipede, he could easily obtain the spiritual core without any action. After studying the map thoroughly, Jae-min told the knight to go after him. When asked by the knight where they were going, our hero asked, don't you want to destroy the centipede? The knight replied that he should do it, but he wasn't quite ready. The protagonist and his companion advanced deep into the cave. Looking at the map again, Jae-min said that it should be around here somewhere. There was a deep pit in front of the young men. The knight asked, where did this deep cliff come from here? Jae-min thought, after all, this is the same place that the centipede would appear from. The system reported that the hero has reached the entrance to the abode of the giant royal centipede. Next, it is necessary to get close to the distorted gate. Jae-min jumped off the cliff without thinking. Our hero looked up at the knight from below and asked, are you not going down? Perhaps you are frightened? The knight replied that he was determined. Jae-min looked at the knight as he tried to climb down. It looked really pathetic. Our hero wondered why there was still no sighting of the giant king centipede. The knight fell to the bottom of the pit. Our hero felt a vibration under his feet. A giant royal centipede popped out from the ground. Jae-min heaved a sigh of relief. The monster was scary and horrible. Jae-min turned to the knight. Jae-min told the knight to run away immediately. He should buy some time and distract the centipede. Left alone with this monster, our hero began to think about how he can now deal with this monster. The system reported that the Battle Eye First skill was activated. Jae-min thought, how is this going to help me? Constellation Song Hyun Seok was surprised and asked about the origin of this cheating skill. Jae-min read the information and thought it was very useful. Our hero told his mother that he got this skill from her constellation. Now don't be jealous of her son. Constellation Sung Hyun Seok is jealous and says that this old man didn't give her any of this. An activated combat eye helped our hero discover the location of the core in the giant centipede. The system reported that Pandora's box was opening. In our hero's hands appeared the best weapon to break the centipede's shell. It was a metal core with spikes on a tether. Jae-min jumped on top of the centipede and dealt it several powerful blows with this weapon. A dent appeared in the centipede's shell, but it did not break. The monster began to wriggle, and our hero flew high up, dropping his weapon in the process. It was lost. Now the protagonist could only rely on his fists. Jae-min activated Warrior's Awakening, and his fist was charged with a large amount of internal energy. All stats were increased by 200% in 3 minutes. Jae-min struck the giant royal centipede with his charged fist. The energy strike was so powerful that it pierced through the centipede. The monster roared loudly and fell to the ground. Our hero extracted a cannonball from the monster's body. Looking at his fist, Jae-min said, "It worked." The system reported that the player had raised his level. Jae-min, smiling, said that it was incredibly easy. The system has reported that the dungeon has been successfully cleared. The dungeon will be closed in 3 minutes. The knight with the lightsaber returned to our hero. The knight shouted that he couldn't forgive him for this. How dare he use him as bait? And he threatened our hero that he would cut off his head right now. Jae-min gave the knight an energy flick, and he flew backwards, hitting his back against the wall. He dropped his sword in the process. The knight was lying motionless on the ground, foam appearing from his mouth. Jae-min wondered, was the flick really that strong? Warrior's Awakening is truly frightening. Our hero thought he needed to pick up the items before the dungeon closed. Jae-min broke a fang at the destroyed centipede. The system has reported that the player has been poisoned by a giant king centipede. The player's health would slowly drop for 6 minutes. Jae-min tried to use his fang to extract the core from his sword. Constellation Sung-hyun-seok is looking for an antidote. Our hero tells his mother that he doesn't have time for it. Our hero's attempts to extract the core were futile. It was necessary to recognize that he could not do it. Our hero's nose bled. The damage was much worse than he had anticipated. The system reported that there was less than a minute left before the dungeon closed. Constellation Sun-hyun-seok scolds and says his son is old enough not to overplay his hand. The system reported 20 seconds left until the dungeon closes. 10 seconds left. Jae-min was rushing and losing strength. The core wouldn't give in. Eventually, the sword split and the core was outside. Jae-min reached out his hand for the core. The system reported that there were 2 seconds left before the dungeon closed. At the last moment, Jae-min clenched the core in his hand. The system reported that the dungeon was closing. The player would be expelled from this dungeon. Once outside, Jae-min pronounced that he had returned. The cannonball was glittering in his hand. Jae-min opened his eyes and released the core from his hands. The light from this object was just as intense. The guy rolled over on his back and said happily that he had gotten it. Now this core really belonged to him. Our hero decided that now is not the time to celebrate. You need to heal a bit first. The president was sitting by our hero's hospital bed. He wondered why the guy had contacted him. Lee Dae-ho asked why. When he answered the phone, Jae-min didn't say hello, but immediately stated that he was injured and needed to be picked up. Is the president really a messenger for him? The secretary said that if the president took out his anger like that, his bald head would only get bigger. Lee Dae-ho became even angrier. The secretary reminded that this guy has the right to interact with the president like this because he is Sun-hyun-seok's son. Lee Dae-ho said that the number of mana packs sufficient for 5 A-class players had already been depleted. The president suggested that there was something wrong with this guy. The secretary reassured the president and added that he was wrong. Lee Dae-ho thought that this guy's talent was sent to him by the universe. However, what did he think he was doing? The president decided that he might as well recognize that this guy is the one this world needs. Leaving the hospital room, Lee Dae-ho told the secretary that he wondered if this kid could surpass his parents. Jae-min woke up and jumped up from the bed. He inquired how long he had slept. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok replied to his son that he had slept for almost 10 hours. Our hero thought he felt much better now. Constellation Song Hyun-seok said that she was sickened by the words the president was saying. Jae-min inquired about what they were talking about. Constellation Sung Hyun-suk said the president agreed that her son is the one the world needs. Jae-min thought that his mana level had increased due to his spiritual core. Intelligence had increased as well. After studying the information about himself, Jae-min was extremely satisfied. However, he wanted to know how to enter the second phase before blocking. Jae-min laid down on the bed again. Did they seriously think that banning him from leveling up would stop him from becoming stronger? Our hero called the right person and said he needed to take a walk. After a while, Jae-min was already out in the fresh air. He asked the president's secretary if she was going to follow him everywhere. The girl said that she had orders to provide support. The guy assumed that it was more like surveillance. After a while, the protagonist said they had come to the right place. Jae-min looked at this building and said that it was a place of power. The girl stated that she couldn't just take the young man there and let him go. Jae-min wondered why. After all, this place didn't look dangerous. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok scolds the girl. saying that she is a Class A player, but is scared like a little girl. Jaemin suggested going alone. The girl didn't support the idea. It was her duty to follow him and support him. The secretary was afraid and hesitant to go inside this building. She said that maybe Jaemin would come to his senses after all. The secretary grabbed her companion's hand and squeezed it tightly. The guy asked what was the matter. The girl replied that she couldn't see well in the dark. Jaemin led his companion to the steps leading down. After walking forward some more time, our hero told his companion that they were on the spot. Jae-ming stretched his hands forward and rested them on the pictograph. As far as he remembered, this place could start events if one poured enough mana into the space. Suddenly, flames appeared ahead, and someone asked in a menacing voice, "How dare a mortal invade his world?" Jae-ming wondered why his companion was frightened. The system reported that the hidden space on the other side was open. Our hero entered the hidden dungeon Crossroads of Trials. A fire monster appeared from above and asked if these people were willing to pay the price. Jae-ming thought it was one of the 4 rulers of the spirit world, the spiritual king of Hongrian, Lei Aquinas. The secretary said that at least it wasn't a ghost and motioned for Mr. Jaemin to step aside. Our hero thought that she usually acts rather aloof, but the secretary is actually a very nice person. Our hero thanked the girl for her concern and said he already had his plan of action. Did she really think he'd come in here unprepared? She should step back and watch. Lei Aquinas said that a mortal will be given 2 trials. He cannot refuse. Jaemin didn't pay attention to those words. Monster wondered why he wasn't listening to her. Our hero raised his hand forward and activated the summoning. Lei Aquinas was angry. How dare he ignore her kindness? Does he really want to die in the first trial? Seeing the object hovering above our hero's palm, the monster said it was Corey's soul. Lei Aquinas asked where this man got her friend's soul from. Jae-min replied that it was a common thing in their world. It's not even worth 10,000 coins. Our hero got down on his knee and said he didn't come for the challenge, he just wanted to give it to her. Lei Aquinas said that the soul of the spiritual cold king, El Kuri, was destroyed during the Great Spirit War. Her fragments were scattered throughout the universe. Jae-ming thought that everyone already knew this story. The monster said that the fragment she had been looking for so long was in his body. Lei Aquinas thanked the mortal and inquired what he desired. She would give it to him as a token of her appreciation. Jaemin said that he wanted a trial award. Lei Aquinas was surprised. A trial award without a trial? Lei Aquinas agreed. He had proven himself well enough for her approval. Our hero noticed that the mark of the spiritual king appeared on his arm. Lei Aquinas thanked the mortal profusely for bringing her a shard of her friend's soul. She promised that they would see each other again. The system reported that the player was leaving the hidden dungeon, Crossroads of Trials. Our hero's companion was glad that they were returning. Jae-ming was informed that the Spirit King's favorite effect had been applied. The guy thought that with this effect, he might not have to worry about the beast that should appear in 2 years. The secretary thought that this guy's constellation had told him about the mysterious ice shard, but the determination and bravery he showed was at a high level. The secretary praised the companion and said he held up splendidly. Suddenly, the whole place shook. What's happening? A huge pictograph lit up in the sky above the city, and lightning began to fall to the ground from it. All passers-by were fleeing. They were seeking shelter. The lightning strikes created a hole in the ground, from which a huge stone monster appeared. Following the monster, another one appeared. The monsters roared loudly and were terrifying. Special Forces specialists got out of a truck that had stopped nearby. The fighters were surprised. Should they be the only ones to deal with this? And how could they do it? The monsters continued to inspire terror. The squad leader with the lightsaber in his hand shouted that it was just a pile of rocks. They just needed to be smashed. The squad members with sledgehammers at the ready prepared to attack. The warriors with fire sledgehammers jumped high up and swung to attack the stone monster. The monster was covered in an electric charge that was transmitted to those people. They were thrown far back. The leader of the advanced squad realized that a stun gun had been used against his officers. Jae-min, who came to the surface and was nearby, looking at these monsters, thought that an ordinary massacre was beginning. Now our hero needed to use his new ability. The protagonist ignited a charge of energy around him, activated his new ability, and rushed to attack the stone monsters. Thanks to this new ability, he is not afraid of the monster's stun gun. A stone monster spewing electrical charges leaned over the Special Forces squad. The squad leader said that because of this stun gun, they can't engage in close combat. Consequently, the squad redeployed, and the commander ordered them to attack only from afar. Fire arrows flew at the stone monster. The arrows exploded and the monster was blown apart. The commander announced that it wasn't that hard, no reason to panic. However, the unexpected happened. The scattered stones began to pile up again. The monster reappeared from the rocks. How is that possible? The monster stood up to its full height and roared loudly. Everything around it shook with the roar. Electric charges flew in different directions. The commander of the Special Forces unit has issued an order to begin retreating. They are powerless in this situation. The enraged monster decided to engage in pursuit and ran after the retreating warriors. A protagonist appeared in the path of the retreating warriors. The commander told this man that it was necessary to flee from here. What are civilians doing here anyway? Jamin couldn't leave the needy behind and accelerated and moved straight towards the stone monster. The soldiers shouted for him to return, but our hero disobeyed them. Pushing off from the ground, Jamin jumped high up and approached the stone monster's head. The commander of the Special Forces squad shouted for the civilian not to touch the stone monster. However, Jamin was already resting his hand on the monster's head. Jamin positioned himself on the monster's head. The stone giant used a stun gun, but our hero avoided the impact. The commander wondered, what kind of player is this? Why doesn't the stun gun take him? Maybe he has some kind of protection. The system reported that the spiritual king's favorite has been activated. The player ignores the taser effect. Jamin was on top of the stone monster's head. He swung his energy-charged fist. The monster screamed loudly and stone shards began to fly in different directions. The protagonist pushed himself away from the monster and flew upward. As he lowered himself to the ground, Jamin noticed the monster dying as it burned in flames. Our hero thought that it wouldn't be so bad this time. Jamin pushed back and descended on the other monster's head. The stone monster is a spiritual golem. The location of the core is the top of the head. The next spiritual golem suffered the same fate, Jamin said as if he had gone to physical therapy. The Spirit King is something. Jamin had time everywhere. Not a single spirit golem, trying to avoid reprisal, escaped the protagonist's hands. The system has reported a side mission. 100 ordinary golems need to be destroyed. The reward for this is unlocking Phase 2. Jamin said he would take care of it. One of the monsters was smarter. He tried to protect his head with his hands. Another monster nearby did the same, wrapping its arms around its head. Jamin said to make sure those stoneheads don't overestimate themselves. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asked her son until when he would keep his stealth skill. Jamin thanked his mom and activated the skill. The monster screamed in fear, but they couldn't detect their opponent. Jamin always appeared unexpectedly. The spirit golems were once again hit in the head and stripped of their cores. Jamin continued to destroy the golems and increase his trophies. The outcome of the battle was a pile of rocks lying on the roadway. Jamin climbed onto one of the defeated monsters and looked around to assess the result of his endeavor. Constellation Sung Hyun-seok said that her son left behind a big mess. The commander of the Special Forces unit said they need a healer, medical assistance. They've got wounded. Jamin descended to the ground from the stone pile and approached the military. The squad leader told the civilian that he had saved them and asked what his name was. Our hero introduced himself. The squad leader asked if this guy could take all the monster corpses as a thank you. The commander regretfully said that their paths would part and offered the young man a business card. It was the business card of the Bluebird Guild. Jamin noticed that his companion's mouth was suddenly bleeding. The same thing happened to other members of the squad. Jamin immediately realized that someone had used a dangerous skill against them. The system reported that the spiritual king's favorite had been activated. Our hero decided that the attack might have come from the sky, and picking up a stone, threw it in the direction of the supposed danger. There was a crackling sound in the sky. A rock hit the protective sphere. From the sky, from within the sphere, someone said that this person had spotted him even in stealth. The villain appeared in front of our hero. It was the one who caused the incident in Kurogu, the fallen priest. In the hospital room, Yu Sung-do asked his mother how she was feeling. The woman replied that she was doing well, as if she was 20 years old again. The woman said it was all thanks to the medicine Mr. Jamin gave her. She asked if her son had thanked the guy. Yu Sung-soo said he hadn't yet because Jamin was very busy. Yu Sung-soo suggested that they could invite this guy to visit after her recovery. There was a breaking news broadcast on TV. There was a rift in the Kurogu area. Fortunately, there was a talented player nearby who took care of the consequences. The woman said it was a marvelous coincidence, but closing the rift alone? This young man is unbelievable. Yu Sung-soo looked at the TV screen and recognized the hero, because it was Jae-min. He wondered what he was doing there. The news anchor said that they had just received information that the player who closed the rift was the son of two S-class players. Jae-min familiarized himself with the information presented. In front of him was the creator of the Spirit Golems, the cause of the incident in Kurogu, the fallen priest. Our hero said that this monster should have run away as soon as he was spotted. Or did he show up here to be destroyed? The fallen priest didn't answer anything. The system reported that the effect of the Eye of the Battlefield skill was canceled. Jae-min was frightened. Was he really capable of blocking this skill? The fallen priest laughed. Magic that weakens the opponent's weaknesses is just cheesy. Our hero decided to finally destroy the protective dome and said that this magic circle was starting to annoy him. He swung his fiery fist. Jiming struck one after another, but the protective sphere did not give in. The protagonist thought that this monster was immune to all kinds of physical damage. The fallen priest said that the people of this world are very rude. The monster activated the pictograph. Through this pictogram, a bolt of lightning was struck directly into the protagonist's chest. Jaemin flew backwards. Our hero fell to his knees and started coughing. Song Hyun-seok's constellation cried out in indignation. Our hero thought that this fallen priest was too strong. Jaemin told his mom that he was fine. The fallen priest said that he felt a strange energy and decided to check it out. He only ended up ruining his mood. The monster wondered, "Why is that boy laughing?" Jaeming replied, "Because it's time for the fallen priest to get what he deserves." The system reported that Pandora's box was opening. Our hero wanted to keep this trump card up his sleeve until the last. He must admit that having a good item is also a skill in its own way. This time the protagonist had a huge sword in his hands. It was cool, but how to use it? How should he use this sword against a monster that throws lightning from a great distance? Constellation Song Hyun-seok shouted, explaining that his son should press the red button on the hilt of the sword. Jiming looked closely and saw there was indeed a red button. Did he really have to press it? This was an interesting gadget he had gotten. Pressing the red button, Jaeming saw that his sword had been cloned multiple times. This is every man's dream. The fallen priest said he was interested. What kind of skill is that? Our hero felt that these swords were one with him. This was a passive skill. The mastery of all weapons was greatly increased. The swords followed one after another towards the monster. The fallen priest wondered, what can an ordinary man do to him? The sword stabbed into the protective dome with great speed. A glowing sphere appeared in front of the fallen priest. The priest cried out in anger, "Is a human really capable of such a thing?" The sphere scanned the monster and gave the information that the core was in its stomach. Jiming said, "There, now it is known where the fallen priest's core is located." Looking into his opponent's eyes, Jiming asked, "Is the fallen priest ready to receive a devastating blow?" The monster screamed that he was about to rip this man to pieces. Spherical clots of energy appeared, which the monster was about to direct at his opponent. Dark energy versus magic swords. Which will win? The swords aimed towards the fallen priest did not reach their target. The monster said it was useless. The fallen priest said that this man was too cocky for someone who was barely able to fend off his attacks. Jaeming asked, why didn't the opponent ask himself why only 3 swords have been used so far? At the same moment, the other sword stabbed into the fallen priest's back. The monster cried out in surprise. The fallen angel has been destroyed. The core has been destroyed. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asked why her son wasn't happy. Jaemin replied that this wasn't the end, and he would still need those swords. This monster has 2 lives. Indeed, the dark energy began to transform. A ghost soul monster emerged from the dark energy. The location of the core is the stomach. Constellation Song Hyun-seok encouraged his son and told him not to waste his time and finish off the monster with Warrior Awakening. Jaeming swung his sword and went on the attack. The system reported that the enemy was using the mana burning skill. After the attack, the system reported that the total mana level was reduced to 10%. Our hero grabbed his chest, stopped, and thought he wasn't feeling well. Jaeming realized his mistake. He had let his guard down. The ghost soul monster grabbed our hero by the throat and lifted him above the ground. The villain said that in front of him was a miserable insect. The monster flew upwards with his opponent and declared that he would destroy this man, pull out his soul, and drink it. The monster let go of Jaemin, and he began to fall head first. The villain rushed after him, repeating that this man was about to become his meal. Our hero showed a middle finger to his opponent and told him to get ready to get cracking again. The system reported that Phase 2 was activated, Blast Ether activated. Health and mana have been restored. From the roof of a neighboring building, an unknown hunter was watching. After spotting the target, the man said he identified it. Hunter, observing our hero, noted that he was not on the list of country ranchers, but he seemed to have all the prerequisites to get there. The rooftop hunter said this man has excellent instincts, mobility, strength, and stamina. Jaemin continued to fight with Ghost Soul at this time. The hunter thought, where did this guy suddenly come from? Constellation Sung Hyun-seok said fearfully that her son's hands were burning. Jaemin explained that it was the explosive ether. Our hero was determined and, having activated the appropriate options, was going to destroy the approaching monster. The guy asked Constellation Sun Hyun-seok to hit him in the back, so he would get acceleration and fly towards the monster. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation was impressed by his son's fighting sense. Physical strike of complete love was used on an ally. The monster aimed arrows of dark energy towards his opponent and declared that all efforts were useless against him. The opponents were approaching each other. Jae-ming told the monster that igniting mana wouldn't help him. When the opponents came within arm's length, the protagonist grabbed his opponent's throat and squeezed hard. Jae-min remembered that he had warned of retaliation. Jae-ming, energizing his free hand, said to the ghost soul to prepare to get the best of him. There was a huge explosion and a bright flash. Flames began to fall to the ground. The special branch officers on duty below couldn't understand what was happening. After a while, it was quiet. The squad leader asked why it was so quiet now. The squad members looked up and saw a huge fireball descending to the ground. The special squad commander realized that this was the work of the guy who had dealt with the stone monsters. Everyone noticed a man falling from a height straight to the ground. "Is this really the hero?" Jae-min shouted to his mom to come up with some skill for flying. Constellation Song Hyun-seok found a suitable skill, Wing. However, there weren't enough divine coins to activate it. Our hero asked Constellation Sun Hyun-seok to stab him in the back one more time before he landed. However, something unforeseen happened. Jae-min felt someone grabbing him in his arms. Jae-min looked at the person who saved him and said, "Is it really Choi Kwang-hyuk?" The hunter was surprised. Does this guy really know him? Sung Hyun-seok's constellation remembered this scene. Jae-min told his mom not to make fun of him. How could she do that to him? Choi Kwang-hyuk is one of the country's 5 S-rankers, the one who handled the incident in Krogu in his past life. Our hero said he knows this rancher, but what's he doing here? Kwang-hyuk said this guy had a little problem, so he decided to help. And he added that they'll now break before landing. Choi Kwang-hyuk gripped the wall with his fingers, trying to get a foothold. The ranker with our hero in his arms went down along the wall, leaving finger scratches on the surface. Making a final jump, Kwang-hyuk landed. Jae-min, lying on the pavement, said that it was really scary, although it was better than falling face down on the pavement anyway. Choi Kwang-hyuk said his opponent knows him, however. What is the young brave's name? Our hero thought that a man known for picking on people had called him brave. Now, his life would never be the same. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok's eyes filled with happiness. The protagonist held out his hand to the rancher and gave his name. The boy added that he didn't know anyone stronger than this man. Kwang-hyuk said he'd heard about this kid and asked what class he was. Jae-min replied that he was only a B grade. Kwang-hyuk couldn't believe his ears. A warrior who single-handedly dealt with this big rift only has a B class? This world had gone crazy. Jae-min shouted for the hunter to let go of his hand. Kwang-hyuk held out a card to our hero. Jae-min was surprised. Is this really a business card? Ranker said it's a recommendation card that he recognizes the youngster as an S-class player. Jae-min was terribly surprised. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation was terribly surprised. Jae-min asked, "But what about the test?" Kwang-hyuk said, so the young man didn't disappoint him. Why on earth would a hero who closed the rift single-handedly worry about some kind of verification? Ranker added that he was the one who established the procedures for assigning class rankings. Does the guy really want a rule added in there that says he can snap the neck of anyone who objects to his recommendation? Jae-min said he didn't object. Kwang-hyuk laughed and patted our hero's shoulder approvingly. Kwang-hyuk said he's looking forward to accomplishing more and named the kid 8th on the country's list of S-class players. In the hospital room, the mother told her son, Yu Sung-soo, that Jae-min's parents were legendary players and he is keeping up with them. Yu Sung-soo thought that Jae-min hadn't told him about any of this. If he had known before, he wouldn't have doubted it for a second. The woman said that in any case, the best player for her is Jae-min. This young man, the son of 2 S-class players, is like he's from somewhere else, while Jae-min is her savior. The woman said her son should introduce her to Mr. Jae-min. She wants to thank him personally. Yu Sung-soo showed the mother the hero on the TV screen and said that it was him. It seems like a new legend is being born in the country. Yu Sung-soo told his mother that this Jae-min had offered him to work together. Mom won't mind, right? Yu Sung-soo told his friend that he was allowed. Mom didn't even get angry or oppose it at all. Yu Sung-soo told our hero that his mother was very happy and even called him a reliable person. Jae-min heard that his friend's mother wanted to meet him in person when he had some free time. Jae-min said that he was free today. Our hero said he would send a meeting place, and time later, he had some idea. Young people greeted our hero and asked for his autograph, and possibly a photo with him. Jae-min realized the reason for this fuss. After all, he was now famous. He should have used stealth before going out. The president asked at the meeting why Jae-min was late. The guy, referring to the crowd on the street, said that the person he was talking to should know what the matter was. Our hero asked about the status of the license. The secretary replied that the license was ready. Our hero received a license that stated he was an S-rank hunter. Jamin thought that it was indeed possible to dispense with all the procedures and get the necessary document. Lee Dae-ho and his secretary congratulated the young man on receiving the S-class. The president expressed that the parents would be proud that their son received an S-class. Constellation's son, Hyun-seok's tears of joy came. Jamin said that it was quite unexpected. He thought the president would be mad at him. Lee Dae-ho was surprised. Why would he be? Jamin replied, because the trustee was against him becoming a player. The president remarked that it had been a long time ago. He just realized that just as no one could control Song Hyun-seok at one time, no one was able to control the guy now. As the saying goes, if you can't stop crazy people, you have to lead them. The president added, how can I influence someone who doesn't want to hide his powers and skills? Jamin wondered, why would he want to hide them? After all, he's not the main character from some cheap novel. Jamin pointed out that his new residence is very well appointed. Constellation Song Hyun-seok says that it's very cozy. Our hero notes that he'll be living here alone, so there's more than enough space. Lying on the couch, the guy thought it was really nice to be able to avoid people who wanted to get an autograph or take a picture as a souvenir. I just want to sleep for a few days. However, there was a knock at the door. It was old acquaintances who had come to celebrate the young man's housewarming party. Yoo Sung-soo and her mother also came to the party. Yoo Sung-soo introduced his mom and Jamin. Our hero bowed to the woman and said he was very pleased to meet her. Yoo Sung-soo's mom tearfully said that she doesn't even know how she can repay this person's help. The housewarming celebration began with a feast. Everyone was in a good mood. Jamin said that he now wanted to introduce everyone to each other. The first thing Jamin did was introduce Yoo Sung-soo and his mom, the head of the guild Black Lion, where our hero was a member as well as the leader of the strike team, and his deputy were also introduced. Everyone was happy to meet each other. Looking at the members of the strike team, Yoo Sung-soo said that he seemed to have seen them somewhere before. Jamin thought, did Yoo Sung-soo really remember these people from the very meeting when they met? The squad leader said that maybe Yoo Sung-soo saw them on the news on TV. They're definitely meeting him for the first time. The guy smiled and said that he probably was. After all, he's a regular person. Jamin told the young man that things would change for him soon. You just have to have faith. Our hero told the squad leader that they need this guy. Would he be willing to take him into the Black Lion Guild? The guild head was surprised. Even with Jamin's recommendation, how can I accept someone I'm seeing for the first time? Jamin said he sees potential in this guy. This is the future S-class. The head bowed and welcomed the new player of the Black Lion Guild. Yoo Sung-soo thanked and said that he was looking forward to working together. Jamin said that today was a great day for all of them. The guild leader agreed. They had a housewarming party and took in a new member with high potential. The next day, our hero told his friend not to be afraid. Everything will be fine. Yoo Sung-soo replied that there would be other people there. What would they think if he made a mistake on the first day? Jamin said, that's why I'm here to help him. Myself personally, I don't go to work for the guild very often. Constellation Song Hyun-seok sarcastically remarked that this was definitely something to be proud of. Jamin, getting off the elevator, added that it's just a family, you just have to make yourself at home. The young men appeared in the guild office and greeted everyone present. Jamin looked around and wondered, what's going on here? Where has that family atmosphere disappeared to? The stranger said, the person in front of you is an enthusiastic newcomer. Isn't that right, Mr. Jamin? The stranger introduced himself. I am Poison Snake, Hong Seok-yu, the leader of the Mad Dog Guild's recruitment team. Our hero wondered, what's this criminal organization doing here? Hong Seok-yu showed the documents and invited the interlocutors to study them. It was a consent to transfer and an introductory contract. Poison Snake said that there was nothing unusual about it. It was just a transfer to the Mad Dog Guild. Hong Seok-yu said that they would of course treat these people with great respect and offer better conditions. Hong Seok-yu offered $5 billion in cash, as well as providing all the necessary equipment, a house and transportation. Poison Snake inquired if the interlocutors were interested in such terms. The guild leader said that he wasn't happy about it at all, and it wasn't even about money. The head tore up the documents and said that there was no way their guild would give up on Mr. Jamin. The guild leader added, do these people really think we'll give up on Jamin just because money was waved in front of us? The head added that their guild would soon be able to offer much larger sums as an entry fee. Jamin thought that this man now reminded him of his guardian. Hong Seok-yu said that Mr. Jamin is now an S-class player. Being in the Scum Guild is just a waste of time. Our hero said that he would prefer the Scum Guild instead of joining the Rogue Guild. Jamin thought that S-class player Oh Chae-rin, the head of the Mad Dog Guild, had raised the influence of her organization with the help of dirty money. In the future, she would become their common enemy by opposing all of humanity. Jamin said they had nothing more to talk about and asked the guests to leave the room. Jamin added that they had a lot of things to do. Plus, they had just brought in a new player. Hong Seokyu said that he wasn't going to leave here so easily. The guild leader wondered, does the opponent really want to wreak havoc or something? Poison Snake said he was willing to arrange anything if it resulted in an S-class player joining them. The leader of the guild's combat squad inquired about what was going on here. Hong Seokyu pounced on them. Can't they see that serious people are talking here? How did C-grade players even allow themselves to do this? Jaemin said that if his opponents try to take one more step forward, he won't spare them. Our hero added that he will make them warmly remember the days when they had only one scar on their faces. Did these people think that the Black Lion had learned of some weakness of his? And that's why he's forced into it? Jaemin said that it was completely different. He chose this guild himself. And if the guests set something up here, they would become his personal enemies. Our hero added that he thought he had said enough for even such stupid low-grade villains to understand everything. Jaemin took his opponent by the shoulder and told them to get out of here immediately. A new portal appeared in the city. The hunters noted that it had been a long time since they had seen a blue gate. Judging by the size of this portal, it will be possible to earn a large sum of money. According to the classification, blue gates are the third most difficult, right after black and maroon gates. It is impossible to close such gates with just one, even a large guild. Hunters noticed the competition and said, Black Lion has been on everyone's radar as of late. They are nothing without that son of a couple S-class players, though. However, does this S player not participate in the sweep? Then raid help from this guild is not worth waiting for. Kang Taesik, the raid leader of the Mad Dog Guild's raid group, exhaled and said, so, Jaemin isn't participating in the mop-up raid. He added that in that case, he would simply wipe them all off the face of the earth. Now Poison Snake would be in his debt. Kang Taesik thought, did the guild really just send these scum here? Could it be that this is just a distraction, and Jaemin is here after all, watching from cover? However, after scanning the area, Kang Taesik thought that he had only worried for nothing. Everything was clear. Kang Taesik told his co-worker, Lee Ji-young, that they had gotten extra work. The girl, Lee Ji-young, stood with her head down. Kang Taesik told her to take care of these people. The players of the Black Lion Guild, once they were on the other side of the portal in the snowy territory, realized the conditions they would have to work in. The band's leader said they had prepared thoroughly for it, but it still turned out to be very cold. The players were faced with a horrible picture. They saw the destroyed beasts. These were the footprints of the first squad. The players said they shouldn't get too far behind, need to hurry up. The sun was sinking and we needed to find a place to camp faster. One of the players pointed to the forest ahead and said that they could hide there, but they had to hurry. Settling down to rest, the players assumed there were no monsters nearby and it wasn't snowing as hard. It's just a great place to rest. A blue gate sweep takes an average of 4 days. It's a long and grueling battle, so they need to eat well and get plenty of sleep. The leader of the battle group wondered, would they really be able to sleep properly in this cold? Yu Sung-soo said that this was the first time he would be sleeping inside the gate at all. Suddenly, someone said that everyone here was going to die soon anyway, so they didn't have to worry about resting. The young people turned around. Strangers appeared near the camp. One of them said that the first squad was fighting, risking their lives, and these men were only thinking about resting. How can they not be ashamed? Our players realized that the members of the Mad Dog Guild were in front of them. The leader of the guests said that it wouldn't be hard for them to deal with these black wolves anyway. Hong Seokyu said to have Lee Ji-young tear those players to pieces. This is her first hunt. The girl bared her sword and said she would fulfill everything. Hong Seokyu added, although she is favored by the leader of the organization for her skills, she still needs to do her job. The squad leader asked why the girl had suddenly stopped. Lee Ji-young said that she couldn't do that. They were innocent people. Hong Seokyu was indignant because the Black Wolves had sent their guild away. Lee Ji-young objected. It doesn't mean that they should be destroyed. Hong Seokyu got angry and told her to forget it. It's all useless, he'll finish it himself. Hong Seokyu activated the skill, Subjugation. This is a skill that steals the will of the person with whom the contract was made. Lee Ji-young said for the commander to stop. Hong Seokyu told her to shut up. All he's doing is making a useless mongrel into a hunting dog. Lee Ji-young bared her swords and told her opponents to run away. Hong Seokyu remarked that there was no way for them to run away. The girl put her swords forward and prepared to eliminate her opponents. However, her swords were knocked out of her hands by someone. She wondered, can she really move on her own? Suddenly, Jaemin appeared in the clearing. He stood in front of the already injured Hong Seokyu and called that rascal a jerk. Who did he think he was? How could anyone even tell someone that they were a useless mongrel? Hong Seokyu, kneeling down, asked how this hunter had gotten here. After all, he definitely didn't use the stealth skill. Jaemin, smiling, said that if his opponent didn't die, he would tell him. In preparation for this raid, our hero realized that stealth wouldn't work. They needed another way to get to the gate. Jaemin was counting on the help of Sung Hyun-seok's constellation. The constellation offered a shrinking effect. This skill shrinks the user's physical body. Characteristics are also reduced. Jaemin was not at all surprised that these rascals had ambushed him. The wounded Hong Seok-yu ordered his squad members to destroy their opponents. The subordinates told the commander that they were facing an S-class player. After all, there is nothing they can do against him. Hong Seok-yu said that this player's class doesn't matter. He's just one player. They can crush him with quantity. Jaemin was surprised. Who told them he was alone? Our hero commanded, "Attack!" The players of the Black Wolves Guild appeared in the clearing. The leader of the Black Wolves strike squad said not to let those rogues underestimate them. Opponents wondered, how did it happen? After all, the Black Wolves were just an ordinary group of weaklings. How could they become so strong? The Black Wolves Guild squad, destroying the opponents, won this battle. Hong Seok-yu didn't understand what was going on. Why were his men losing to these weaklings? The protagonist thought it was all thanks to Yu Sung-soo's divine ability. But still, they're outnumbered, so they'll have to help their colleagues out a bit. Our hero raised his hand up and activated the Wicked Thoughts option while absorbing the opponent's dark energy. Constellation Song Hyun-seok says that her son is acting rashly. After collecting the necessary charge of dark energy, our hero released it into his opponents. The enemies noticed that they began to lose their power. What's going on? Due to this skill, the characteristics of the opponents are reduced. Therefore, the players of the Black Wolves squad effectively continued to destroy the opponents. Jaemin told his opponent not to be surprised. If he was going to destroy someone, he should be prepared to be destroyed as well. Our hero looked at his watch. It had already been 10 minutes. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation guaranteed that he was about to react. Jaemin transmitted over the intercom that they were beginning their retreat. The opponents wondered, why did the Black Wolves Guild turn around and run away? The surviving enemies rejoiced and decided that they would not pursue the retreating ones. It was already good that they were lucky to be alive. The squad members asked their commander what they should do. The wounded Hong Seok-yu replied that he did not know. The protagonist walked up to the girl, Lee Ji-yoon, and said that they needed to get out of here. Our hero grabbed the girl in his arms. Lee Ji-yoon was surprised. What is he doing? Our hero replied that he was saving her. If she stays here, she will die. Lee Ji-yoon was surprised. They were her co-guildmates. Wouldn't they dare? Jae-ming replied, did he say they were the ones who could destroy her? Thunder rumbled in the sky. The system reported that the living armor heard the noise and became enraged. A forbidden area was activated. The Mad Dogs Guild squad was at a loss. What did all this mean? A monster appeared in the sky, a living armor. The armor shattered into pieces in the air and fell to the snow. However, all the pieces came back together again, and the monster living armor was already on its feet. The monster began to absorb the blood that from the outside was coming inside the armor. Jaemin and his companion, from a safe distance, watched these events. The girl asked, what is it? The guy replied that it was the boss of this forest location, the master of this forest. Because of him, there were no monsters here. One of the players asked their commander, Hong Seok-yu, what they should do now. The monster, using brute force, proceeded to systematically destroy his opponents. The players of the Mad Dog squad became frightened and began to scatter in different directions. However, they bumped into the protective armor and realized they were trapped. Jaemin told his colleague to take the girl away from here. The leader of the combat team asked, what is Jaemin going to do? Our hero replied, whenever they have a good opportunity for development, they will take it. Personally, he thought it would be a good idea to get some armor. Constellation Song Hyun-seok asks his son to back off and not try to find good armor. Jaemin hasn't changed his mind and says he has a good feeling. The armor will belong to him. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok says that it's just a horror. Our hero got inside the protective dome and, after approaching a sufficient distance, called out the monster, living armor. Jaemin said, if this guy's done with his opponents, maybe he'll fight me now, and beckoned him with his hand. The monster turned around, swung his fist, and prepared to attack our hero. Jae-ming also prepared for the attack and told his opponent not to underestimate him. The Fire Fist had already been activated. The opponents clashed in a fierce battle. Their fists clashed, releasing a huge amount of energy. Jae-min wasn't scared of the head-on collision and said that he wasn't as weak as these guys. Jaemin activated Pandora's box at the right moment. The mace reappeared in the protagonist's hand. This is by far the best weapon for armored enemies. Jae-ming began swinging his mace and approaching the armored monster. After the first strike, the monster flew far away to the side. The monster's fall into the snow was violent, releasing a huge amount of energy that rose upwards towards the sky. Trying to get to its feet, the monster roared loudly. Jamin was surprised to see that the monster was still alive. Our hero asked, "Is this monster immortal?" The system reported that the monster, living armor, had recovered the damage it had taken. The opponent did not look hurt. He was once again approaching our hero. Jamin expressed extreme surprise. Looking at the monster's arm, our hero wondered why part of the armor had not recovered. Jamin said that he understood everything. The monster couldn't recover the damage it received from the ether. The boy realized what needed to be done next and modified the mace. Constellation Song Hyun-seok was glad that her son turned out to be a genius. The system reported that the player has gained the skill Ether Blast Enchanting. The ether skill has been increased. Jamin dodged the monster's attack and said that he only lightly touched it last time. Our hero prepared for the next attack. The mace struck the monster's head and that part of the armor flew off to the side, splattered in all directions. The slain monster fell to the snow. The system reported that the player had defeated the living armor. The level increased and the barrier disappeared. However, Jamin wondered, why was this thing moving after he defeated it? Parts of the armor began to rise into the air, leaving a man lying on the snow. The pieces of the armor came back together again. Jamin noticed that this monster's name suited him very well. The system reported that Igor's amulet was reacting to parts of the armor. The activated amulet began to absorb the armor. After the armor was absorbed, our hero once again hung the amulet on his chest and said that this monster was now just a set of iron pieces. The system reported that Pandora's box was devouring the corpse with the voraciousness skill. When the corpses were absorbed and the aftermath of the battle was eliminated, our hero said it was very cool. The protagonist looked at the remaining weapons and decided that they were all no lower than B class. Constellation Song Hyun-seok told her son that he would make a lot of money from it if he wanted to sell everything. Our hero began to collect the weapons lying in the snow. It's a good thing. The system has reported that Pandora's box is moving to a new level and getting a new property. The property Greed Projection is unlocked. Jamin thought, when would the other 4 properties be unlocked? Flash of Anger, Voraciousness, Projection of Greed. These names seem to be derived from the 7 deadly sins. Jamin activated the information board and familiarized himself with the properties he had obtained. He decided that it would be quite useful. Constellation Song Hyun-seok was surprised. According to the skill data, her son is at the EX class level. Jamin looked at the destroyed Mad Dog Guild commander and decided to try using the new properties on him. He was sure that this guy knew a lot of things. Plus, Pandora's box didn't swallow this man up. That's a very good thing. Jamin stood over his defeated opponent, raised his hand up and activated the Greed Projection. The system reported that the properties of Pandora's box, Greed Projection, were being used. A camera appeared in our hero's hands, but how to use it? There was no instruction manual attached to it. Jamin decided to try and take a picture of his opponent lying in the snow. The system reported that the player had successfully saved a fragment of the target's memory. Jamin was glad that it was working. The system asked if the player wanted to replay the stored memory fragment. Jamin confirmed. Our hero got an image from Hong Shokyu's eyes. The officer reported to the commanding officer that everything was in order. The staff member reported that the egg is growing very fast. The fetus should hatch soon. Jamin was puzzled. What was growing? What was going to hatch? Our hero realized it's a disaster egg. But why is it here? This is one of the 4 voodoo cult items that will appear in about 2 years. It is a desecrated divine object. Our hero did not know why this object was in the hands of these scoundrels. Perhaps they had it originally, and then the egg was taken over by the voodoo cult. Jamin saw the people imprisoned in front of him. The Constellation Song Hyun-seok said that he hated all of this. Our hero didn't understand. How could they do such a thing? These scoundrels really deserve to die. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is worried about his son's mental health. Jamin replied to his mother that he was fine. He just needed to relieve stress. The monster's ice fairies appeared in the neighborhood. The monsters, laughing, inquired why they had come here. These monsters were the ice fairy queens who rule the northern snowfield, meaning they are the bosses of this location. The ice fairies, looking at the humans, said this was what they needed. The hunters suffered damage, but could not retreat lest they fail the mission. One of the players' attacks succeeded, and the true ice fairy was effectively attacked. One of the players said they hit a real body. However, who could have hit? Who did it? The silhouette of a hunter with a bow in his hand appeared out of the snowy shroud. Everyone recognized this player. It was Hwang Jamin, an S-class player. Jamin, just like the protagonist in a story, appeared at the most decisive moment. Now they would be able to win. The system reported that the player was using the skill Ether Blast Enchantment. A majestic power enveloped the player. Our hero wondered why the distances were so long. It took him over 2 hours to get here. The ice fairy was indignant. How dare this rascal hit her? It was commendable that the warrior was able to attack her real body, but he wouldn't be so lucky next time. The ice fairy began to multiply again, with numerous clones appearing around her. Jae-min said that it was a cheap trick. Trying to avoid the ice attacks, our hero began to change his dislocation, gradually approaching his opponent. The protagonist made a shot with his bow and said that he would be interested to see how the ice fairy could dodge it. The fire arrow flew past all the ice fairies and flew far upwards. The system reported that the passive skill Pedigree Can't Be Fooled was activated. Bows, pistols, and other ranged weapons now have greater accuracy. The explosion sounded again, and the ice fairy screamed. The fire arrow had hit its target exactly. The ice fairy wondered, how did he do it? Jaemin replied that it was a secret. Constellation Song. Hyun Seok said that she didn't like her son's behavior. Our hero drew his bow once more and prepared to release a fiery arrow, saying it was time to call it a day. The ice fairy shouted indignantly. Did her opponent really think she would just let him destroy herself? The members of the attacking guild's strike force were caught in a snowstorm. They shouted that they had to hold on to each other to endure. Our hero, preparing for another shot, thought that the ice fairy's behavior and her strength really matched the location boss. After the blizzard subsided, it could be seen that the strike squad players were snowed in. They were calling for help and regretted coming here. Constellation Song Hyun Seok told her son that this is how things work in high-level gates. Jae-min thought that was clearly over the top. Our hero wondered where the ice fairy was now. Someone was approaching Jae-min from behind. The person who approached was one of the guild players. He asked for help and said that he needed a healing potion. Doubting the man's sincerity, the protagonist punched him in the chest with his fist. Jae-ming said at this that he was not easily deceived. Jae-min grabbed the man's chest and told him not to pretend. He had been able to be figured out. The opponent wondered how Jae-min was able to guess. Our hero saw a core in this man's chest. Only a monster could have such a core. Jae-min told his opponent that he wouldn't tell him anything. The cheating player let out a curse and stepped aside. He began to transform into an ice fairy. The ice fairy decided to back off and yelled that she would deal with this guy later. Jae-min grabbed the fairy by the wing and said no, later. He still has a lot of things to do without her. Our hero decided to deprive the fairy of her aerodynamic abilities and began ripping out her wings. After a while, the fairy without wings was lying on the ground. Jae-min said that she couldn't fly anymore. Jae-min loaded the fire arrow into his bow once more and prepared to shoot the ice fairy at point-blank range. The monster begged for mercy. Jae-min wondered what kind of mercy we were talking about and released an arrow from his bow. The ice fairy was destroyed. The system reported that the location boss had been defeated. Our hero said that the ice fairy had wasted his time, so now she owed him experience points. The system has reported that the player has gained a large number of experience points. His level has been upgraded. The hero also receives one skill that will be randomly selected from the boss skills. Jae-min was pleased with himself. He had gotten a lot of things as rewards after this fight. The system reported that the player had obtained the skill Ice Mask. Outside, the civilians were watching the portal with interest. The security representatives were guarding the portal at this time. Journalists and other members of the press and television were also on standby. Suddenly, the rift shuddered, but it wasn't time yet. What had really happened? Perhaps the players had lost. Wounded players began to appear from the portal. They were the ones who had cleared the blue gate. The onlookers wondered, wasn't that too fast? How could they clear the gate in less than 8 hours? The old record for mopping up the blue gate was 8 hours, with S-class players working. The leader of the strike force breathed a sigh of relief. They had returned alive. It was necessary to reach the guild, make a report, and go to rest. A press conference could be organized later. Our hero also left the blue gate. He wondered why it was so noisy. The player had a monster core in his hand. Everyone recognized that person. It was Hwang Jae-min, after all. So he's the one who destroyed the boss? Jae-min raised his hand with the core high up and said that the boss was an ice fairy, and he destroyed it. The leader of the Mad Dogs Guild, watching the events on TV, was surprised. Where are his players? Why aren't they coming out? Why is there still no sight of Hong Shokyu? Have they been destroyed? The guild leader thought that Oh Chae-rin would definitely finish him off. The guild leader became very worried. There must be some way out. The man saw someone else coming out of the blue gate. It's Kang Tae-sik, a player of the Mad Dog Guild, but what's wrong with him? The guild leader rejoiced. If Kang Tae-sik was alive, then everything was fine. The man thought that all faults could now be blamed on this person. However, Kang Tae-sik made a statement to reporters. Kang Tae-sik said that the Mad Dog Guild on the other side of the gate had made an attempt on the lives of the members of the Black Lion Guild. Kang Tae-sik added that they were counterattacked by Mr. Jae-min. causing all the guild members except him to die. Kang Tae-sik said that they were just acting according to the guild leader's order, but it was partly his fault. He would like to apologize to the Black Lion Guild. The reporters approached the representatives of the Black Lion Guild and asked if Kang Tae-sik was telling the truth. The leader of the Black Lion Strike Force said that it was true. If it wasn't for Jae-min, there wouldn't even be a trace of them left in this world. Those present decided that this should not be taken lightly. After all, this is a big crime. The speaker hid from the gaze of those present around a corner. The man had an ice mask on his face. A spellcaster can copy the appearance of a destroyed enemy. The head of the Mad Dog Guild threw the cup at the television. He called Kang Tae-sik a traitor and a scoundrel. The guild leader said, "If this guy wanted to jump into the pit, he should have jumped alone. Why drag the others along?" The head decided that he needed to find a place to hide. Suddenly, the woman who was sitting at his back asked where he was going. The guild leader was terrified. The woman said that the end of this person's shift was still a long way off. Why was the manager about to leave? It was Oh Chae-rin, an S-class player and the actual leader of the Mad Dog Guild. The man was startled and said that the chief had misunderstood him. Chae-rin asked what exactly she had misunderstood. The frightened man said that Kang Tae-sik was just a regular talker and shouldn't pay attention to him. He promised to do whatever it took to solve the problem, no matter what it cost him. Oh, Chae-rin said that she didn't care about what Kang Tae-sik was saying. Did the person she was talking to think she was going to destroy him because of that? The woman added, however, she would not be able to forgive the fact that her only friend, whom she holds very dear, was in their hands. Oh, Chae-rin noticed that she has a lot of tame dogs, but only one friend. The man was frightened and tried to run away. However, he was attacked and was shot in the head. The woman approached her younger brother, Oh Hyuk-chol. The young man wondered what such a busy woman was doing here. Chae-rin said she had some work to do. She also came here to check on the kids to see if they were okay. Hyuk-chol said they were fine. Chae-rin led her brother to the blocked and deactivated manager. Hyuk-chol wondered why his sister had done that to the man. Chae-rin replied that there was a reason and added that her brother should feed the man to his children. Hyuk-chol took the manager by the scruff of the neck and said that his sister was very impatient. Hyuk-chol dragged the man over to the cage and said it was time for the kids to eat dinner. Sharp fangs and tentacles appeared from the cage and took over the man's body. The cage contained spider-like bloodthirsty monsters. Hyuk-chol said that the kids are getting stronger and stronger every day. The sister replied that she knows. However, it doesn't make any sense if they don't have Lee Ji-young. However, the woman added not to worry her brother and she would fix it soon. The Ghost Witch constellation smiled. Talking on the phone, our hero expressed his belief that Oh Chae-rin is spending a lot of money to keep the situation quiet, but people are still talking about it. He decided that very soon their guild would be able to afford to move to a bigger building. Walking into the office, Jae-min heard someone tell Ms. Lee Ji-yoon that she was a member of the Mad Dog Guild. Why did she do that without discussing it with them? The man asked, does Ji-yoon have any idea how much money they spent on her? The equipment, the skills, and she paid for it that way? The man said, Ms. Lee Ji-yoon should go back, because she was still in the Mad Dog Guild. Jae-min resented the fact that this girl was being pressured. He said that the members of the Mad Dogs Guild were crazy rascals. Our hero added, what else can you call people who scream in someone else's office after they wanted to destroy everyone? The opponent said that they just came to pick up their employee. Jae-min remarked, since the girl doesn't want to go back to them, the Black Lion Guild is willing to pay compensation. The opponent said that they spent a huge amount of money on this girl. Our hero replied that in that case, that amount would be paid. The man said that they didn't really have any plans for this girl. Jae-min wondered, then what did he want here? Our hero looked at this girl and thought she seemed innocent. However, it's not that simple. She's a demoness, a notorious villain who sided with evil right after the massacre she's about to cause a year later. Did Oh Chae-rin have something to do with her personality change? It could very well be, but either way, you can't give her back. The man pulled out a briefcase and added that they had prepared this as a final argument. The briefcase contained cash. The man said they would give it in exchange for Lee Ji-young's return. They would also appreciate it if the Black Wolves Guild would consider this as an apology for their recent actions. The guild leader of the Black Wolves Guild said that they might have taken it if the interviewer hadn't said that it was an apology. Do the Mad Dogs really think money can make up for the crime they committed? The guild leader said that the Mad Dogs must first formally apologize. Until then, they will protect Ms. Lee Ji-yoon. The head added, if the opponent has nothing more to say, they can get the hell out of here. The representatives of the Mad Dogs Guild apologized and left the room. The guild head said, he doesn't understand why Jae-min is trying so hard to protect Lee Ji-yoon? The girl said that she doesn't understand it either. After all, she is a member of the Mad Dogs Guild. Jae-min wondered, He too doesn't understand why the girl's trying to go back to that guild. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok told his son that there was something suspicious about it. Our hero clarified. Lee Ji-yeon really wants to go back to that guild, so they would force her to destroy against her wishes. The girl replied that there were reasons for that. Jaemin inquired, "What kind of reasons are we talking about?" Jaemin said that the best way to find out is definitely a friendly party. At the party, the girl sat sad. Jaemin wondered if she wasn't enjoying herself. Lee Ji-young replied that it wasn't that. She just still doesn't understand why she, a member of the Mad Dog Guild, is dining with the Black Lions. Jaemin told her not to think about it and just enjoy it. The guy offered the dish in his hands to his companion. Our hero added that you don't need to ponder anything serious before eating. Lee Ji-yeon sighed, thanked the young man for the invitation, and said that she wasn't used to such a sit-down. Jaemin said they are good people. She will soon see that. People get closer when they relax together. The head told the girl he didn't know why she was in such a guild. But if she suddenly encountered problems, he could always tell her about it here. After all, she was now part of their family. After the party, after saying goodbye, Lee Ji-yeon wished everyone good luck and went home. She was told to be careful not to sneak back to Mad Dog. Lee Ji-yeon was in a good mood and thought, how long had it been since the last time she laughed? Lee Ji-yeon stopped and said that she doesn't really want to go back, but she knows it's her duty to make her successor. Oh Chae-rin, who was behind the girl, said that she had noticed her after all. Oh Chae-rin said that the people from Black Lion are really very kind. They invited her friend over for dinner. Should she personally thank them? Oh Chae-rin held out her hand and said that she was willing to forget about the incident. She suggested that Lee Ji-young return home nicely by holding hands. Lee Ji-yeon thought that she had no choice. Lee Ji-yeon reached forward and was about to take her companion's hand. A fiery feather appeared in the air and moved at a tremendous speed. The feather hit Oh Chae-rin's hand, injuring her. The woman cried out and pulled her arm to the side. The wound was serious and the arm was bleeding and the blood was black in color. Someone's voice was heard. He apologized and said he meant to hit the head, but in his defense, he said it was the first time he'd ever fired that thing. The girls looked up and saw Jaemin, who was soaring through the air, using a pair of twin wings. This skill was called the Wings of the Ascended. These 4 wings were briefly used by those who had passed the Hall of Trials and ascended to the heavens. These wings gave the ability to fly, allowed one to track enemies in a large radius, increased the user's stats by 10%, and fired feathers filled with holy energy. Jaemin said that he was happy to meet this psycho girl. Oh Chae-rin said hello too and said she didn't expect to meet this guy so soon. Oh Chae-rin inquired. He was the one who destroyed her Mad Dog strike force, wasn't he? Jaemin confessed. He said that he doesn't like the condensed atmosphere. He has to kick her a few more times before they can have a normal conversation. Our hero sent a few more feathers, aiming at Oh Chae-rin. However, the girl managed to hide behind a tree. She said that this guy had obviously not been taught manners. Oh Chae-rin looked at the feathers, wondering, is this really it? She was a little nervous, after all. The son of a legendary pair of S-class players was in front of her. Suddenly, there was an explosion. All the feathers in the tree trunk burst. Jaemin smiled. Had she forgotten about the feather that ripped off her arm? The boy saw that instead of the patch that covered the woman's eye, she had a glowing eye. He thought she wore the eye patch just for beauty. Oh Chae-rin reprimanded. How dare he do that to her? Jaemin noticed, so she showed her true colors. Now he would even enjoy destroying her. The guy looked at his opponent, and her blood looked suspicious to him. Jaemin wondered, is it really a clone? Oh Chae-rin laughed. Did he really just notice that? Jaemin agreed, if you break it down, a woman like her would be unlikely to come here in person. That was why she reacted weakly to her hand being hurt. The woman said no matter if she was a clone or not, the opponent's death at her hand would be inevitable. A demonic sword appeared beside her. Oh Chae-rin held out this sword to Lee Ji-yoon and said that she expected the girl to help her. A sword with a glowing core inside it appeared in Lee Ji-yoon's hands. Lee Ji-yoon threw the sword aside and said that she didn't want to do that. Oh Chae-rin asked in surprise, did you really decide to side with that man just because he fed you once? Are you willing to betray your friend for him? Lee Ji-yeon replied that it wasn't just about dinner. This guy saved her life, so she won't fight him. Oh Chae-rin was indignant. Do you even know how much has been done for you in all this time? Is this petty reason enough for you to take his side? Lee Ji-yeon said that saving a life was not a petty reason. Lee Ji-yeon repeated that if it wasn't for Jae-min, she would have died in that gate because of the Mad Dog Guild members. Oh Chae-rin said that Lee Ji-young has a younger brother that she cares for so much. Her brother's music school class would be over soon, so she sent her subordinates to the entrance to keep watch. Lee Ji-yoon, wouldn't it be better to pick up that sword before anything happens to her brother? Our hero, who was watching this dialogue from above, asked. Those subordinates who were sent to pick up the baby, do they happen to look like a skinny blonde and a fat man with piercings? Oh Chae-rin was surprised. How do you know? Jae-min replied that he saw people with similar looks walking near the music school and had to deal with them. Jae-ming added that the person in front of them was just an ordinary clone. What's the point of dealing with her at all? Lee Jun grabbed her sword again and stabbed her opponent with it. Lee Jun told our hero that this woman shares everything with her clones: sight, hearing, and even pain. A wounded Oh Chae-rin said that this girl crossed the line. Lee Jun noticed that a line had been crossed by her opponent and split it in two with her sword. Lee Jun inquired, "How dare you threaten my brother? I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore." Jae-min clarified, "If I hit the clone, will the real Oh Chae-rin feel pain as well? That fundamentally changes the matter." Our hero put his fist forward and said he wanted to stretch it out. Oh Chae-rin, seeing her opponent approaching, thought it was dangerous, and she urgently needed to merge with the shadows. Blending in with the shadows was not possible. Jae-min punched the woman in the chest with his fist and asked, "Where were you going to go?" Lee Jian told our hero that this woman is trying to escape by using the shadow. You can't let her do that. Jae-min said, "Now I understand where she was going to go." Jae-ming said that in that case, she should be cut off from that shadow and cut the woman's body across. Jae-min grabbed the remaining part of Oh Chae-rin's body by the throat and lifted it up. The protagonist said that this monster wasn't going to run anywhere now. He promised that they would meet again soon, and after that meeting, her real body would be in a much worse state, so she should prepare herself. Jae-min warned Oh Chae-rin not to even think of approaching Lee Ji-eun. Oh Chae-rin's body began to disappear and turned into a dark blob of energy. Jae-min wondered, why didn't that thing disappear? However, this blob of energy rose higher and began to increase in size. Our hero became curious. What is it? The system reported that the player had received a guardian stone. The guards standing at the entrance to the office heard loud shouts. The two burst into the study and ran up to their mistress. What happened to her? Oh Chae-rin looked at the guards and told them to get out of here immediately before she destroyed them all. The woman continued to kneel and scream in pain. The next moment, she threw up. After calming down a bit, Oh Chae-rin sat down in the chair and said that she would finish off this Hwang Jae-min. The constellation Ghost Witch was angry. Ghost Witch accuses the woman, asking how she's going to get her guardian stone back. Jae-min couldn't understand what was going on. Why was his hand emitting dark energy? The process worsened. Dark energy began to emanate from our hero's entire body. The system reported that the player had successfully merged with the guardian stone. Jae-min thought, has everything been absorbed? The system reported that the player had obtained the Ghost Witch's memory fragment. Oh, Chae-rin inquired, is she really going to be chosen as the heiress? Our hero was surprised by such a memory fragment. Why so sudden? Oh Chae-rin was thankful that she, a worthless slave, had been given such a unique chance. The constellation Ghost Witch offers the woman the trial of the heir. Oh Chae-rin said that she would gladly accept the challenge. Constellation Song. Hyun Seok explained that Ghost Witch decided to become Oh Chae-rin's official constellation for her deed, and in exchange, Oh Chae-rin herself must become the heir. Our hero thought it was about when the Mad Dog Guild had gotten 7th place in the High League after repelling an attack from the Blue Rift Gate 2 years ago. That was their only good deed. In any case, thanks to this, she received a bonus offer from her constellation. The prerequisite for completing the Trial of the Heir: you must train player Lee Ji-eun and corrupt her. Oh Chae-rin thought, why her? Oh Chae-rin inquired, if I'm supposed to corrupt her, why is there a need for training? May I know the reason? Constellation Ghost Witch replied that it was none of her business. Oh Chae-rin apologized for daring to ask stupid questions. The system has reported that the available memory limit has been reached. The playback of the memory fragment shut down. Jae-min was upset. Why did it end at the most interesting point? This isn't a TV series. Anyway, it's now clear that Oh Chae-rin is the reason why Lee Ji-young became a deviless in her past life. Definitely need to deal with that psychopath. Our hero thought, what is Guardian Stone? Why did I get a skill from it? Constellation Sun. Hyun Seok explained that the Guardian Stone was the most important material that the constellation was created from, and was the core that encapsulated all of its influence. Jae-min wanted to ask his companion a question, however. He heard a strange breathing behind his back. Our hero turned around and saw Lee Ji-eun looking at him with a demonic gaze. Our hero heard a strange voice. He can talk to his dear representative later, but right now, he has something to say to Jae-min. Jae-min became wary. Is it really a foreign constellation speaking to him? It's been a long time since I've breathed the air of this world. I am this girl's constellation. My name is Transgressor of Exaltation. I can't stay in this weak body for long, so I'll be brief. The constellation has said its precious representative must be rescued. It was well prepared to pay for it. The system reported that there was a request for a trial from the constellation the Transgressor of Exaltation. The condition for completing the challenge is to rescue Lee Ji-yeon. It doesn't matter what Jaemin does to Oh Chae-rin. The main thing is to not let her get close to my representative anymore. That's what's called rescue. In return, the constellation of the Transgressor of Exaltation promised our hero a reward. Constellation familiarized herself with the Ghost Witch's skill, Resurrection of the Dead. Constellation said that it could fix the conditions for the application of the Ghost Witch skill. Will that satisfy Jaemin? Our hero has agreed. He likes the challenge. Constellation said, after that girl lost her parents, strange things kept happening around her, until she met Jaemin. I can't remember anymore when I saw Lee Ji-young laughing heartily like I did at dinner recently. Constellation called himself a fool because he took a strong interest in raising this child. Looking at the unconscious Lee Ji-yoon lying there, whose body had just been invaded by the constellation, our hero thought that he wanted to destroy Oh Chae-rin anyway. Now he had even more reason to do so. Jaemin carried the emotionless girl over to the bed. The kid said it's very spacious. It's completely different from their house. Jaemin stroked the boy's head and said that this place is full of free food and it's delicious. Jaemin told the boy not to go anywhere for now, and he could play with his sister as much as he wanted. Lee Dae-ho was surprised because he hadn't authorized anything yet. Constellation Song Hyun-seok told her son that Mr. President is going bald because he has no empathy. Jaemin agreed with his mother, but remarked that he couldn't tell Mr. President that. The president said that this place is not a hotel. Jaemin replied that they have a difficult situation. Can't the trustee at least help them a little? Lee Dae-ho said that he can't count on help because the child is not a member of the association. The boy looked the president in the eye and asked, "Is Grandpa going to kick them out?" The president remained silent, lowered his head, and walked away. Constellation Song Hyun-seok said that this child was as cunning as a fox. Market for black stone items. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is excited, saying she hasn't gone shopping in a long time. Jaemin said that there were many rare items here, but compared to the ones his mom gave him, there was nothing special here. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok wondered, why did they come here then? Jaemin replied that his mom would understand when she saw it herself. At the intercom in front of the front door, the young men tried to get their way. They offered a lot of money and hoped for help. First, they would like the door to be opened. A woman's voice came from the intercom and said she wasn't interested in the money. The girl inquired what they wanted from her. One of the young men said he needed the sharpest sword in the world. Another needed armor that could withstand the dragon's flames. In response, the girl said goodbye and told these men to take care of themselves. Disappointed, the young men dispersed in different directions. Jaemin remained standing by the door. Constellation Song Hyun-seok upsetly said that this woman is really rude. Jaemin replied that when the conversation turns into a drag, she does become rude. Jaemin declared that he had no other choice and pressed the intercom button. He heard cursing in response. The girl on the other side of the door saw our hero's face. Jaemin said hello and introduced himself. The girl replied that she knew him. It's that famous son of a legend. What does he want in this workshop? Our hero stated that he wanted to know if the person he was talking to could create something for him. The guy added that he had the materials with him and showed the pendant. The interlocutor wondered, does he mean to say it's a pendant of some inventory-type artifact? She has never seen or heard of such a thing. Jaemin defiantly turned around and said that if she can't help, then there's nothing to be done. He doesn't want to waste her time with idle talk. The girl on the other side of the door stopped our hero. She didn't say she didn't believe him. She said she just didn't know about it. The door to the room swung open, and the interlocutor told him to come in. Our hero was surprised by what he saw. He had been told that this was a real treasure island, and it turned out that the rumors were true. Jaemin saw a girl in front of him. She told him to come over and take a seat. Our hero replied that he was lost for a second, because all these things here are just mesmerizing. The interlocutor was John Sona, the third S-class player and the best item master. The girl agreed that her workshop was pretty good. Jung-sun said that he can look, but not touch anything. Those things have weighted spells on them, so if he tries to lift it, he might hurt his wrist. Jaemin said that if they weigh less than 2 tons, it's fine for him. Our hero took off the pendant and showed it to the girl. Jung-sun saw the sword falling out of the pendant and wondered, is it really true? Jaemin apologized for criticizing her work. Jung-sun told him to sit down and wait. She's about to make tea. The protagonist was surprised. Would Jung-sun herself make him tea? While drinking tea, the girl was studying the pendant. Jaemin watched her and thought that she was drooling with anticipation. Jung-sun says that even her constellation is very surprised. It says that it has never seen an artifact with such efficiency. Jung Se-on clarified, The guy said the materials are inside, so what does he want to craft? Jamin said he was interested in the armor. Is it possible that it has more deterrent skills? Then they can be obtained as well. Our hero held the pendant up and said, not to be too surprised by the interlocutor. A knight's armor appeared in front of the young men from the pendant. The armor turned around and rushed to the wall to snatch the sword from there. Jungseon shouted that there's a glass wall, it won't work. Jungseon had imprisoned this armor in a glass cube. Jungseon scrutinized the material used to make this armor and asked, is this the material the interviewer is interested in? Jae-min replied, since it's a monster, it would be the best material. Jungseon wondered, what happened to my constellation? Jungseon had to admit that she couldn't help the young man. Jae-min wondered, what's the matter? Is it possible that she's not good enough? The girl, excusing herself, said it was not impossible to manufacture. Jungseon announced that he wanted to condescend. Triumvir of the Hammer. Her constellation wants to move into her body and use the opportunity to ignite her creativity. This has never happened before. The girl couldn't believe it. Her constellation was taking away the toy that had come to her. Could it really be serious? Jungseon called her guest Mr. Son of Legend. Jungseon added that this guy's lucky today. 1 hour passed. Our hero was lying face down on the bed with medical jars on his back. Jae-min pondered, where did my armor go? Is this a workshop or an oriental medicine clinic? The guy was sure that these cans were different from normal cans. They don't draw out, but on the contrary, add something to his body. After a while, Jungseon came over and asked how the young man was feeling. Taking the jars off, the girl said it went well. Jungseon brought a shield and showed the reflection of his back in that shield so the guy could check the quality of the procedure done. Our hero was interested in the drawing that appeared on his shoulder. Jungseon said he could go up and try to use it. Command, protect me. Jae-min rose to his feet and said those words. Constellation Song. Hyun Seok was embarrassed upon hearing the team name. Our hero was also embarrassed. He thought he sounded like a teenager. After saying those words, a strange vortex formed around Jae-min. In the next instant, our hero was dressed in a first-class outfit. Constellation Song Hyun Seok said that her son had gotten a great outfit. Jae-min thought it was like a version of Pandora's box armor. Jungseon suggested that the guy liked it. Jae-min noted that the design suited him. The girl wondered why he shouldn't check to see if this armor would fit his fighting style. After looking at the features, Jae-min said that it's really amazing. Jungseon called it the best thing she's created. Jae-min asked Jungseon to tell his constellation that he was very grateful. The girl replied that the constellation heard everything and said that it was fun for him to quench his thirst to make something. So they are even. Communicating with her constellation, the girl said that it was too much. Jae-min was wary. What was going on? Jungseon stated that her constellation says there is another hidden effect. Jungseon handed the guy the ring and told him to just touch the mark on his chest. Jiming touched the mark on his chest, and the ring began to float in the air. Jungseon explained that since the necklace was too annoying, they could just take away its function and combine it with the outfit. Jae-min agreed that it was really great and convenient. But was it even possible? Jungseon said she was also so curious that she couldn't find room for herself. Our hero asked how much he owed for the work. The girl replied that she hadn't technically done anything. She would consider them even if he brought her something interesting next time. Jae-min was satisfied. He was fine with being able to ask the best craftsmen to create things. The young people said goodbye and agreed that they would meet again in the future. Jae-min was satisfied. It wasn't even a bargain, he had gotten too much. The guy caught himself thinking that he felt rather awkward. Constellation Song Hyun Seok told his son that he hadn't returned the ring after all. Our hero decided to tell his mom a story she doesn't know about yet. 3 years after he and his father were killed, gates began to open simultaneously on Huksan Island. Among them was a blue-colored gate. Jae-min added that it was a mess. 2 years later, the problem still hadn't been solved. Huksan Island had become an uninhabited land, and the government was about to give up as well. But by then, an awakened player with the best tamer skill, absolute taming, had appeared. The woman who tamed the monsters on Huksan Island ruled it like a queen and made it her private island. That woman is the country's 5th S-class player, Master Tamer Jin Soo-hyun. Nowadays, Huksan Island is called the Wild Island. Constellation Song Hyun Seok asks his son why they came to such a place. Jae-min replies that after reviewing all his skills, he had a great idea. Flying toward the island, our hero activated the ice mask. Jae-min recognized that it was indeed an amazing skill. After finishing his flight with the help of his wings, our hero landed on the island. Constellation Song Hyun Seok is intrigued and asks what the idea is. Using the ice mask, Jae-min now looked like a different person. Jae-min said that he just wanted to steal the title of Taming Master. Jin Soo-hyun is the ruler of this island. But there was one monster she couldn't tame. That monster was too strong. Jae-min came to the manor located on this island. He said it was here. The guy walked up to the gate and told his first beast servant to just wait for him. Jae-min leaned his hand against the wall and activated his inner strength. Looking around, our hero saw a monkey. Could it be the guard? So, it is not possible to simply pass through here? The constellation of Seonhyung-seok is alarmed. Shouldn't this monkey be destroyed immediately? Jae-min wondered why to do that. He changed his appearance in case something like that happened. Jae-min speculated that this monkey might share sight and hearing with its master. He turned to the monkey and asked if Jin Soo-hyun could hear him. Our hero said that the beast imprisoned in this place would be captured by a mad dog. If something is not to your liking, Jin Soo-hyun can come to their office. Constellation Sung-hyun-seok is worried because her son is getting better at deceiving those around him every day. Jae-min said that Jin Soo-hyun once gave an interview. She was asked why the taming master didn't tame that monster. Too many people died. Who's going to take responsibility? Jin Soo-hyun told that man to shut up. She almost died trying to tame him. Jae-min took off his ice mask. Constellation Sung-hyun-seok asked if her son was sure he was doing the right thing. The guy said he was sure, but now he thinks he's not. But since he's here, he decided it's okay to try. The system reported that the guards of the demon temple, Heavenly Light, were awakening from a long sleep. A huge demonic beast appeared in front of our hero. The demonic beast howled loudly. It was so strong that Jae-min tried to cover his ears with his hands. Heavenly Light used the fear skill. The hero fell under the effects of fear. His stats temporarily decreased. Jae-min shouted loudly for the beast to shut up. The Spirit King's favorite is activated. The effects of fear have been neutralized. Our hero thought that he had already blocked the first attack. Jae-min took the pendant in his hand and directed its light at the demonic beast. The beast's territory is activated. The opponent's characteristics inside the territory are reduced by 40%. The beast came close to our hero and opened its jaws. Constellation Sung-hyun-seok says that it's a very mean dog. Jae-min agrees and says that's why Jin Soo-hyun used the teleportation stone to escape. But he has a plan for that too. Our hero shouted, "Protect me!" Divine Living Armor was activated. The armor is transformed to fit the environment of the area where the hero is at the moment. As our hero suspected, the beast's territory is a field-type environment. However, the beast roared loudly and, opening its mouth, bit our hero's hand. Our hero escaped from the monster's fangs. He did not expect the beast to be so fast. Jae-min raised his hand up and said that it was now his turn to attack. Pandora's box opens. Clawed gloves appeared on Jae-min's hands. Is it really necessary for him to destroy this dog that bites people? After all, it's ruthless. The protagonist activated the amplification mode. His hands began to release excessive energy and ignited. The Divine Living Armor was activated. Our hero told the dog that it would hurt a little. Jae-min approached at a sufficient distance and struck a staggering blow with his clawed glove right at his opponent. The monster roared loudly. The wounded monster stood aside, blood flowing from its mouth. Jae-min thought that he had hit with all his might to end it all with one punch. But this monster was still on his feet. It seemed like it was a crazy idea to fight him. Our hero declared that if he started this crazy fight, he would have to end it quickly. The monster growled loudly and stood with its mouth open. Jae-min activated the Warrior's Awakening. His stats were increased by 200% for 3 minutes. The guy stated to the monster that he only had 3 minutes to deal with this monster. Jin Soo-hyun saw the guy saying that the beast imprisoned in this place would be captured by the mad dog and invited her to come to his office. The girl laughed. "Is it really serious?" Jin Soo-hyun says that that rabid rascal must have already died. She's sure he's been destroyed. He has no idea where he went. Jin Soo-hyun tried to remember who was the head of the mad dog. Jin Soo-hyun remembered that it was Oh Chae-rin. How dare that rascal do such a thing? Does Oh Chae-rin invite you to her office if she doesn't like something? Jin Soo-hyun decided to go there right now and deal with it on the spot. The system reported that the player had successfully defeated the Heavenly Light. Our hero was resting, lying next to the destroyed monster. The guy thought he was in such a terrible state, even after using Warrior's Awakening. Jae-min thought that he had only fought one voodoo cult squad leader beast, but he had to risk his life to do so. The protagonist rose to his feet. He decided that he needed to get even stronger. Jae-min received a gift from his mother, a top-grade healing potion. The boy thanked his mother and said he had the best. The system reported that a punch full of love is being used against a representative. Constellation Sung-hyun-seok beats his chest, saying he is very worried about his son. Jae-min said for his mom to feel sorry for him, because he could die like that without being able to drink it. Finally, the time came, and our hero drank the contents of the vial. Jae-min definitely felt an improvement in his condition. He said that everything went well. The guy didn't think his back would stop hurting so quickly. The protagonist approached the monster and brought his hand down on its muzzle. The system reported that the forbidden spell takes control of the opponent's body and soul. Communication with the selected opponent is established. Jamin said that he would give this beast a second chance at life. This time it will serve a good master, not that brainless girl. The system has reported that the player has received the item Beast Egg. The skill Wicked Thought is permanently disappeared. It is necessary to feed monster kernels for the egg to hatch. Jamin assumed that he would now have to go to many gates. He didn't expect to feed the egg. The boy asked for his mom to get him out of here. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok is looking for an item in the Hall of Fame. Our hero received a gift from his mother, a scroll of teleportation. Wasting no time, Zeming tore the scroll. At this time, Jin Soo-hyun appeared in the room where her monster, Heavenly Light, was located. The girl was indignant. Where had her Heavenly Light gone? There were no traces that led anywhere. The girl thought, did this representative of the Mad Dogs really take him away? She had no choice but to go to Oh Chae-rin's place. Jin Soo-hyun decided to teach the Mad Dog a lesson this time. Constellation Song Hyun-seok informs her son that she used all the divine coins to buy him that scroll. Jamin apologizes and says he's sorry. Jamin thought that he didn't feel tired at all because of the potion. Should he go on a mop-up mission in the Wrath now? It was worth it to deal with it while he had some free time. Our hero called the head of the guild and asked how many red gates there were in the city right now. The guy added that he would take care of those gates today. Ho Ji-won should take care of the reports. Ho Ji-won asked, is it really that urgent? Why does the young man need it? Our hero replied that he needed something at the red gate. Our hero thought he would collect cores, and his mom would earn divine coins, and it would be a productive day. At the entrance in front of the red gate, our hero presented his pass. The guards were surprised to see Jamin, an S-class player, for the first time. The guard girl replied that the identity of the Black Lion Guild player had been identified, and he could pass through. The girl took out her smartphone and asked if she could take a picture with Jamin. However, the guy didn't react in any way and walked past in a hurry. The girl wondered, why was he in such a hurry? The guard girl looked around to make sure no one was around. The girl pulled out a pack of cigarettes and lit up. An unfamiliar sound caught her attention and she looked around. Wasn't that the sound of the gate closing? The guards were surprised. It had only been 12 minutes. Shouldn't it have taken at least half a day? Our hero emerged from the portal and, stretching, said he was done with the first one. Jamin wished the guards good luck and said he was leaving. The girl dropped the cigarette from her mouth in surprise. President Lee Dae-ho was as alarmed as ever. 8 red gates had disappeared in just 2 hours. What could have suddenly happened? The secretary said that they watched the gate close. There's only one person doing it, Hwang Jae-min. The director spread his hands. Why isn't he surprised? What was wrong with him? The president shouted, what kind of monster have these S-class players, Hyun-seok and Hyun-min, spawned? Another monster was deactivated. Our hero said that this is the 20th monster in a day. He's starting to get tired. Presenting the nucleus to the egg, Jae-min determined that the Beast Egg had reached 100% maturity. The nucleus was absorbed. The system asked if the hero wanted the egg to hatch. Our hero replies that he wants the egg to hatch right now. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok watches this moment of new life, budding with glittering eyes. A white fluffy animal appeared in front of the protagonist. The system reported that the beast had successfully hatched. Heavenly Light, the devil wolf, recognized the player as his master. Jae-min said that he was cute, considering he was once a devil-like beast. Constellation Song Hyun-seok is happy that the beast is small compared to how it was when they met. Jae-min said that's the way it's meant to be. The skill gives the opponent a second life. It starts from childhood. Our hero said it was even better. He could grow him even stronger than he was before. The puppy began to rub against his master's hand. Jae-min thought it was bad for his heart. After studying the characteristics of the beast, the protagonist thought that this ball of fur had the characteristics of a B-class player. It's always nice to have good starting characteristics. Jae-min thought that this little guy is a newborn, so he doesn't know anything yet. Jae-min noticed that a couple of armed monsters had appeared nearby. Our hero thought it was about time. It seems it's time for the little beast to shine. Jae-min said that with characteristics like the Heavenly Light, it would be easy to destroy the 2 green goblins. The guy said, go, and the dog ran forward. A Heavenly Light was rushing at a tremendous speed. Constellation Song. Hyun-seok bowed with his arms folded across his chest. Our hero thought a bloodbath was about to ensue. However, the opposite happened. The monsters pounced on the puppy. Jae-min wondered, why was Heavenly Light being beaten? Our hero thought that a newborn who's only 10 minutes old can't fight well yet. But still, he is a wolf. He can pull himself together and fight back. The monsters continued to club the puppy mercilessly. Constellation Song Hyun-seok yells for his son to save that animal immediately. Jae-min says he was going to do it anyway and runs to help. Jae-min gave a decisive fight back to the green goblins and saved Heaven's Light. Our hero said that this puppy was stupid. Why was he beaten? Did he not fight back? My heart bleeds looking at this beaten creature. Jae-min obtained a top-level healing potion from his mother to bring the puppy to his senses. Our hero said that a little patience was necessary, and he would cure this beast with a potion he had gotten from his mother. The medicine had the desired effect, and the puppy recovered from his injuries. Jae-min thought that this puppy was a bit strange. That alien language on his skill and the fact that he can't attack. Something is off here. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation invited a guest. Jae-min thought that he had seen this message before. Sung Hyun-seok's constellation opens the chat window. The invited constellation chats while hiding their real name. The world's strongest druid said he was pleased to meet the son of a noble warrior. Our hero waved his hand. The world's strongest druid asked to be shown this strange child. The interlocutor said that everything was fine on the outside, but the problem was on the inside. Jae-min interjected, "Do you mean the soul?" The world's strongest druid said that there is a seal on the soul essence. With such a seal, it was impossible to use skills or attack without the order of the one who applied it. Jae-min thought that the seal must have been applied by the previous owner. Our hero didn't expect such difficulties to arise. The guy wondered if there was a way to remove the seal. The interlocutor replied that there is a way, but this child must go to the dimension of souls. It is difficult and dangerous. Jae-min thought it was worth it. He had risked his life to make this animal his. Maybe he could risk it again. The interlocutor said he now understood why his constellation went around bragging about his son. Constellation Song Hyun-seok told the guest to stop saying unnecessary things. The system reported that an anonymous guest has donated an item, the key to the worship tree. It is necessary to open the path with this key and walk along it with your pet. Jae-min, with the puppy in his hand, extended his other hand with the key forward and approached the portal. Stepping through the portal, our hero found himself in front of a tree. It was a tree of worship. The world's strongest druid said that with this puppy in his arms, one should sit under a tree and close his eyes. The tree of worship will guide him through the dimension of souls. The system has reported that our hero has entered the soul dimension. The player can benefit from his items in the soul dimension. The player cannot communicate with his constellation in the soul dimension. Jae-min became worried. Mr. Druid hadn't said anything about it. He didn't expect the difficulty to increase so much. Suddenly, someone called out to our hero. Jae-min looked up and was even startled. In front of Jae-min stood the commander of the third squad of the voodoo cult, Archduke Diork, the Oppressor. The monster said that this strange insect from the human world seemed to know him. Jae-min thought that he had met the worst possible opponent of all. Why is it so fast? He has no armor, no items, no mother's donations, nothing at all. Diork the Oppressor asked who he was. How dare he invade his beast's soul dimension? Our hero wondered, why can't he feel the energy of this monster? However, he has a feeling that he can defeat it if he risks his life. That's reassuring. Jae-min said that he was the new master of Heavenly Light. The monster realized that was why the Heavenly Light suddenly died and the soul dimension was disturbed. It was all because of that man. He didn't seem to understand how to value his life. Jae-min activated his fire fist and said that he wanted to clear things up now. Diork the Oppressor said it wouldn't work. The person in front of him is just an illusion. He sent to check the situation in the soul dimension. Jae-min realized what the matter was. The cowardly scoundrel in front of him was just as cowardly as Oh Chaerin. Diork Oppressor said that this person was able to sense his strength, even if it was an illusion, and dared to still attack him. Jae-min replied that he didn't see anything special. It was below his expectation. The monster said that it was because it was only a small fragment of his soul leaving his body. 70% of the soul dimension was now in chaos. Diork the Oppressor said that his power is now sadly reduced by 70%. Jae-min thought that he didn't even want to imagine how strong his opponent's body was. Diork the Oppressor suggested that the man is here to break the seal. Jae-min said that the monster is right. He can't bear to see his beast disobeying him because of some spell. The monster said he'd like the man's aggression, so he would teach him. Each dimension of the soul consists of 3 floors. The seal he seeks is on the deepest floor, that is, the lowest part. Will the man be able to get there? Diork the Oppressor said he would be watching the man. The system reported that the test of the top had begun. Our hero thought that he had to fight the voodoo cult unit, which should appear only in 2 years. The system reported that if the player wins the battle with this unit, he will be able to get to the middle part. Armed monsters were advancing on the protagonist. However, he did not have any items with him. Jae-min ran up to one of the attackers and took the spear from him. The system reported that the hero had gained 50 experience points. Our hero was surprised. He is in a spiritual state, but he can still get experience points. Everything is as usual, except that he can't use his items. In this situation, even the skill, "You can't fool the bloodline," was working. The guy also used explosive ether. It turns out that all skills in status window work as normal. The demons advancing on our hero were weak to him. They are just like the red goblins. Therefore, without much difficulty, Jae-min was destroying them. Jae-min assumed that their surroundings had also been weakened by 80%. Our hero already had a sword in his hands. He jumped up high and, after assessing the situation, said that there were already many monsters here. Jae-min said it doesn't matter how many are here. He would systematically eliminate all of them. The system reported that the player had increased his level. It was even more than he had expected. Jae-min thought that these monsters would endlessly appear until he brought the tower down. In that case, it's a great opportunity for endless pumping. Diork the Oppressor, watching the process, thought that this man did not know what fatigue was. The monster thought that this man was one of the people they would rule over when the back gate opened. If it's the strength of an average person, they can't seem to look down on them. He thought they were bugs, but they seem to be like puppies. Diork the Oppressor said, "There are only 2 years left. He can't wait for the day they start destroying each other." The system reported that the player's opponents were too weak to get experience for it. Our hero thought that this would ruin the dream of endless pumping. Jae-min shouted that he was tired of playing these childish games, and he headed for the tower. "You have to take down the tower, then the demons will stop coming out." The system detected the player's unstoppable fighting spirit. The player received the skill Persistence. Jae-min said that he came to find medicine for his beast, but he got an amazing passive pumping opportunity. That's just great. Now he needs to do something about the tower. Jae-min was approaching the monsters that were defending the tower. He didn't think he would be able to take it down with his bare hands. The protagonist came within striking distance and ripped the head off one of the green goblins. The boy said it was about time. Jae-min climbed to the very top. It looked exactly like the core of a tower. The boy threw his spear and destroyed the core, towering at the very top. There was a powerful explosion, and the tower began to collapse. This could have had irreversible consequences. The monsters began to disappear before our eyes. They turned into dark energy and vanished. The system reported that the player had passed the overhead test. The guy said he missed the fresh air. The way to test the middle part opens up. Jae-min thought that it happened rather quickly. Jae-min sat down in front of the portal and said that he wasn't going anywhere. He needed to rest. Our hero took off his shoes and tried to give himself a foot massage. He had fought too long and his feet were tired. Our hero looked away. He thought he felt something similar to a spiritual core. It seemed he shouldn't ignore this feeling. Some kind of energy could be felt under the rubble of the tower. There's got to be something there. Jae-min found what he was looking for. It was the core. The young man noted that it was a little different from the soul core. But this thing is just begging to be devoured. It was like a harmful but delicious food. Our hero felt like he was playing gotchi, with an increased chance of winning. Jae-min carefully held his core in his hand. The protagonist wondered if it could all be absorbed. Absorption of mystical energy. The player can increase the level of a passive skill of his choice. Jae-min decided to improve the persistence skill. The system reported that the skill persistence had been improved. The name of the skill was changed to Indomitable. Jae-min was satisfied with the result he had achieved. Our hero thought that measuring souls was just great. He's getting a lot of use out of it. We'll have to thank Diork the Oppressor. The monster said the man passed the test of the top. Jae-min turned his head. Where is this monster hiding? Does he really have some sort of broadcasting room in the soul dimension here? The monster says he is on the bottom floor and watches the man from there. The man's words are lighthearted, but his skills are fascinating. It was interesting to watch him. So, he wants to offer the man a deal. Diork Oppressor motioned for the man to join them. Jae-min said it's a predictable question. It's better they get straight to the point. He's sure that's what the monster wants, too. The monster wondered, was the man giving up the opportunity to avoid the ordeal of the middle path? He would regret this decision even after his death. Jae-min said that the trial was too easy. The guy added what he was sure of. The monster saw him yawn as he passed. Diork Oppressor said that, from now on, only yawns would come out of the man's mouth. Jae-min decided to see what kind of punching bags would come next. The system reported that the middle path test had begun. The path to the lower path trial would open when the hero defeated the opponent in front of him. Diork the Oppressor asks if man can destroy the one he loves most. He recognizes man's abilities, but we must see how strong he is mentally. The monster said if the man didn't destroy her, this woman would kill him. In front of our hero stood his mother. A person must prove that he has the courage to destroy someone he cares about. Jaemin called that monster a sick rascal. Jiming wondered, what does intelligence even have to do with the strongest person in the world?